Welcome to Next IAS Prelims Solution 2024. Dear friends, paper is done and generally paper used to be tough in earlier years, but this year both the papers, that is GS paper and CSET paper, both are easy and easier as compared to the past 4-5 years. So the cutoff is expected to go up, and we will also give you idea what can be the expected cutoff. On the basis of the students' feedback, on the basis of the teachers' observation, we will share what can be the cutoff this year. You can just go through. So this session will be live and will continue till the discussion is complete. All the teachers of Next IAS will come one by one to discuss their own areas, and then one after the others, all papers will be done. And then at the end, after completing paper 1, CSET discussion will start. So let me give you the certain ideas ki from which section how many questions have come and what was the cutoff of the last year and what can be expected cutoff this year. You see the past 4 years 2020, 21, 22, 23, the general category cutoff was as compared to last year earlier. Subject wise difficulty level, if you check, then you will find in most of the subjects the questions are easier, and for that reason the entire paper is easier. And dear friends, I would like to tell you few more things. This year again, as like last year, personally I am sponsoring more than 100 students for coaching in Next IAS or MADG or maybe MANIT for civil services or engineering services. So this will be sponsorship to those who have lost their parents, जो economically weak हैं, जिनके parents नहीं हैं, ऐसे बच्चों के लिए I am sponsoring 100% fees. So such students can apply at the Next IAS website, और इसके लिए हम लोगों ने एक creative release किया है. You can log on and 5th July is the last date to apply. तो आप अपने friends को भी बता सकते हैं, अपने जानने वालों को बता सकते हैं कि in case they have lost their parents on any tragic reason or any revision, then they can get the free coaching from Next IAS. क्लासरूम कोर्स में पढ़ सकते हैं, किसी भी सेंटर में पढ़ सकते हैं, मे बी इन दिल्ली, प्रयागराज और जयपुर, किसी भी सेंटर से पढ़ सकते हैं. तो दिस यू कैन अप्लाई. वी हैव द इंग्लिश मीडियम एंड हिंदी मीडियम, बोथ द कोर्सेज अवेलेबल. तो दोस्तों ये एक जनरल इंफॉर्मेशन है विच यू कैन पास ऑन टू योर फ्रेंड्स. एक और इन्फॉर्मेशन मैं दोस्तों बताना चाहूँगा कि नाउ द प्रीलिम्स इज ओवर, the support for the mains will start from Next IAS, and especially the students who have been part of Next IAS over the last year or last to last year, they can take free support for the mains examination. उनके लिए mains test series है, and those who will clear prelims, we will give them free of cost the general studies advanced course also. And essay guidance, essay enhancer, ethics enhancer, there are multiple support systems available to the Next IAS students for the general studies courses, and for other students these are also available and open on paid basis. इसके अलावा दोस्तों मैं बताना चाहूँगा कि एडवांस इंटीग्रेटेड मेंटरशिप प्रोग्राम बाय द नेक्स्ट IAS इज ऑल्सो अवेलेबल, एंड दैट विल बी अ कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव कोर्स एंड यू कैन चेक. तो अब इन्वाइट करते हैं सभी टीचर्स को वन बाय वन, बट बिफोर दैट आई विल एक्सप्लेन यू कि किस सब्जेक्ट में कितने क्वेश्चंस पूछे गए हैं. प्लीज सी दिस इज 2024 and these are the 2023 and 2022. If you see, the economy is again 14 questions, last year also it was a 14 questions. Environment 15 questions as compared to last year 12 questions. Geography it is 18 questions as compared to 16, so little up, and questions are very straightforward. History this year 12 questions as compared to last year 13, and polity number of questions are 15 as compared to 12, and साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी 15 की बजाय थोड़ा सा कम है, इट इज़ 13, एंड करंट अफेयर्स एंड मिसलेनियस सोसाइटी एंड सो ऑन, देयर आर 13 क्वेश्चंस which as compared to 18 last year. So this is also has come down, this has gone up, and this is at same level. The number of questions from these 7 areas which are 2024. If you see the subject wise graph, then it is 14%. This is the current affairs and international relation, 13% from the science and tech, 15% the polity, 12% history, 18% geography, and 15% environment, 13% economy. So, this is the general outlay of the subject. So, wait for the next subject, we will begin the next subject discussion one by one. Thank you very much.
Hello, good evening. Myself Mohammad Ayaz Khan from Next IAS Science and Technology faculty. Today I am here to discuss the questions which have been asked in the Civil Service Preliminary Exam 2024. So, here are the questions of Science and Technology. We will take up one by one how to go about them. Okay, so let us start the discussion on the questions here. So, one of the questions which was asked this year in the preliminary exam was what are the duties of the Chief of Defence Staff CDS as head of the Department of Military Affairs. So, you all know that we have a CDS and what is the role assigned to them. So, first statement which is mentioned here is that permanent chairman of Chief of Staff Committee. So, yes, Chief of Staff Committee includes the chiefs of Army, Navy and Air Force. So, and the permanent chairman of that is CDS. So, this statement is correct. Second is exercise military command over the 3 service chiefs. No, it does not exercise the military command. So, that statement is incorrect. And the third statement is principal military advisor to Defence Minister on all tri-service matters. So, this statement is right. So, for this question the answer is 1 and 3. So, answer is D for this particular question. Okay, so I hope you people got it right. Fine. Now, let us go to the next question. Now, if I see this question, this is about distributed storage which has been asked. So, consider the following: battery storage, biomass generators, fuel cells, rooftop solar photovoltaic units. So, here if you see the question, how many of the above are considered distributed energy? Distributed energy means where the energy resources are distributed at multiple places, like it is not a nuclear reactor or thermal power plant or hydro power plant which are concentrated at one place. So, here if you see battery, yes, battery storage is there, wherever you can produce the electricity you can store it. Biomass generator, wherever the biomass is in the agricultural field or anywhere else you can produce the electricity. Fuel cell, make hydrogen and oxygen to react and make water and electricity, this we can do even in space. And rooftop solar, wherever people are living, having houses, you can produce electricity. The answer is, for this particular question, all 4. So, answer is D for this particular question which we have. Now, let us proceed to next question. That next question, if I see here, again for energy, this question is again on energy, that consider the following materials: agricultural residues, corn grains, wastewater treatment sludge, and wood mill waste. These are the 4 options we have given, we have been provided. And which of the following above can be used as feedstock for producing sustainable aviation fuel? Sustainable aviation fuel. Sustainable aviation fuel, where you can ensure the continuity, and continuity here means there is a continuous availability of the raw materials. So, if you see agricultural waste, this can be used to make a green diesel, and green diesel has been used to run the planes or even biofuel. Corn grains, again it is being used to make a green diesel. Wastewater treatment sludge, municipal solid waste, we have this concept called drop-in fuel. Drop-in fuel, where we take the waste, put it in a chamber where it undergoes fermentation. Wood mill waste is again biomass. Okay. So, all 4 of them obviously can be used for making sustainable aviation fuel. So, answer for this particular question is C, that is 1, 2, 3 and 4. So, that is it. So, I am not going for very deep discussion, reason being you people have already exhausted a lot of your energy while obviously you were solving these 2 papers in the examination hall. So, now move to the next question. Next question is about this thing, and this is probably is the easiest question in the entire paper, and I hope all of you got it easy, where the question seems to be a bit long, but then it is the easiest question. Which one of the following word phrases is most appropriately used to denote an interoperable network of 3D virtual worlds? Virtual world, अब world की बात हो रही है. So, obviously big data analytics is out, cryptography is encryption out, virtual matrix is out, option left is metaverse that can be accessed simultaneously by millions of users who can exert property rights over virtual items. It is metaverse. So, answer for this particular question is C, metaverse. Let us proceed further. This was one of my favorite questions. Radioisotope thermoelectric generator system. This we discussed obviously exclusively when we were discussing Chandrayaan 3. तो अगर हम देखें रेडियो आइसोटोप thermoelectric generators RTGS, consider the following: they are miniature fission reactor. No sir, there is no fission in RTGS, rather we use radioisotope. Radioisotope does not mean fission. So, here first statement is wrong. If first is wrong, this cannot be the answer. What is left? So, this was a 5-second question, 5 सेकंड का क्वेश्चन था और कोई बात नहीं, हम इसको this is being used for powering the onboard systems or spacecraft. सर लूना 25 okay of Russia, इस वजह से ये सवाल पूछा गया. because when we had Chandrayaan 3, almost at the same time Russia had sent Luna 25 over there. Now if you see Curiosity of NASA, Perseverance of NASA, no, Luna is of Russia. They all are spacecrafts and they have been powered by RTGS. It uses plutonium 238, not 239, because 239 is fissile. So then answer is 2 and 3. These are the two statements which are right. It was okay question, बहुत ज़्यादा मुश्किल नहीं था. कुछ लोगों ने, some of you might have taken this as right. So if you have taken this as right, then I'm sorry, your answer is wrong. Fine. So now listen. Now move to the next question. Giant stars. अब कुछ बहुत से लोग घबरा गए होंगे जिनका साइंस बैकग्राउंड नहीं. Giant, sir, red giant, red super giant. Giant star means giant, red giant or red super giant. Recall the classes about black hole formation. याद करो जिन्होंने क्लास की हैं, जिन्होंने नहीं की उसका कुछ नहीं हो सकता. हाँ. So here we are talking about giant stars. Giant stars means red giant star or red super giant star. Live much longer than dwarf stars. Dwarf means white dwarf. White dwarf which is formed after supernova explosion. Okay. Now we can't arrive at the answer of this statement. We need to see the second statement. Compared to dwarf stars, giant stars have greater rate of nuclear reaction. Yes, in giant star we have a fusion of helium into carbon. Okay, that is going on. And carbon obviously can fuse to form iron. So here what happened in giant stars, the nuclear reactions are very fast. So when the nuclear reaction is very fast, the fuel will exhaust very quickly, and when the fuel will exhaust very quickly, so the life of the star will not be long. Life of the star is going to be short, whereas dwarf glows very slowly, comparatively obviously at a lower intensity than the giant star is. So here statement 1 is incorrect and statement 2 is correct, and answer is going to be D. Statement 1 is incorrect, statement 2 is correct, answer is D. Okay. So this was a fairly good question. If you know the concept of red giant, red super giant, then obviously you can solve this. I'm sorry, चलो कर तो लिया ही होगा, यही बोल सकते हैं. Now this was again a cakewalk. If this was again a 5-second question. What was the question? They gave you the name of 3 aircrafts: Rafale, MiGs, MiG-29, sorry, and this was Tejas Mk1. So Rafale is 4.5 generation, MiG is 4 generation, Tejas Mk1 is 4.5 generation. So 5th generation fighter aircrafts. So this is not the answer, this is not the answer, this is not the answer. Answer is D, none. Okay. So again, paper obviously was very easy, whether we like it or not. So let's move to the next question. Hydrogel. So if we see hydrogel, hydrogel obviously is a network, okay, which is holding the water. So which of the following are hydrogels used? So it is used for drug delivery, it is used for cooling the air, so air conditioning, and it is also some places can be used for lubricating. So answer is going to be 1, 2 and 3. Question number 96, answer is D, set is D. Okay. So it was fairly factual question. Drug delivery means this hydrogel in the network which is there, like say it is like this here. So here we can have the medicines, and gradually these medicines will be released into the body. This hydrogel obviously can absorb the heat, so it can be air conditioning. Okay. So then move to the next one. Now again, come on. Fuel cell. What is fuel cell? Hydrogen reacts with oxygen. Okay. So hydrogen reacts with oxygen to form obviously water plus electricity. Exhaust pipe emission from the fuel cell. Exhaust pipe emission. Fuel cell, electric vehicles powered by hydrogen. So hydrogen peroxide, no. Hydronium, no. Oxygen, no. Water vapor, D is the answer. So science, coincidentally, most of this question answer is D, but this is just a coincidence. Let's move to the next question.
Hello, good evening everyone. So here geography subject and GS portion is there, and as you know this year geography questions are many questions are there, and one question regarding the Indian geography, the river section, and you know the river section, the Ganga, the most famous basin, and this question from the Ganga basin, and few tributaries of Ganga basin, Ghagra, Gomti, Gandak, Kosi, and we have to arrange west to east direction. So it is better that one image in your mind in the map, it will be easier for you. For example, if you know the map, then as far as Indian map is concerned, only northern portion you have to draw, and if you check that okay which rivers are there, main river is the Ganga, and Ganga is going like that. But if we say that which rivers are east of the Ganga, because Prayagraj onwards, then Ghagra, Gomti, then we have one kind of way that Yamuna, Ram Ganga, Alaknanda, Gomti, Ghagra, Gandak, Kosi, Budi Gandak, many rivers are there. But if you see that west to east and eastward Bihar side Kosi river, so chance is there that eastward, because Kosi is to east, Supol, etc. So we say that okay Kosi, so either A or B option. But here if we check here, Then one river is here Ramganga and one river is Gomti. Gomti is joining near Varanasi, Gazipur. So Gomti near Varanasi, Gazipur side. And one more river is Ghagra river, and Ghagra river or Gandak river if you check, then Ghagra is big river, largest tributary, and Ghagra is coming out from Tibet, then Nepal, where it's called Karnali, near Ayodhya, the Saryu river. And this river is also not to east, rather slightly UP side, and then UP to Bihar finally, and near Chhapra it is joining Ghagra river. This is the Ghagra. And also then the Gandak river, and Gandak river Nepal, where it is Narani river, then UP Kushinagar, then Bihar, UP Bihar boundary, then it is entering Bihar, and Sonpur it is joining here. Sonpur, the river Gandak. So the kind of way you can discuss, okay, Kosi, that is also near Mount Everest, Nepal and Tibet border, and known for changing the course, causing flood, eastern Bihar, and near Katihar, eastern Bihar it is joining with Ganga, Katihar, Kosi river. So it is good that triple G and Kosi river, then Gomti, then Ghagra, then Gandak, then Kosi, and option B is the right answer. Whenever map based question, it is good that you think in your mind, and suppose you are not comfortable in the map, then you can draw, okay, Ganga river, it is Yamuna river, it is for example this side the Alaknanda river or Ram Ganga river, and then triple G, the Gomti slightly ahead than the Yamuna near Varanasi, because Yamuna meeting at Prayagraj. Then one more river Ghagra, largest tributary, that is joining near Chhapra, and then Gandak river, mainly Bihar, very close, small area in the UP. So B option is correct here. And next question if we see, then it is about the physiography as well as the waterfall. And this question is also linked by simple fact that which rivers and which waterfalls are there. But here one trap is there. And this question was not as easy as it is looking like, because here three options are given: waterfall, region, river. It is not simply waterfall, river. Here this point is also mentioned, region. And we have to be very cautious if one extra information has been given. For example, Dhuadhar, that is a famous waterfall of the India in Madhya Pradesh, Jabalpur region. Of course, Narmada river, no doubt. That in case of this side here, that if we focus this part here, then it is Madhya Pradesh area, and here Jabalpur slightly eastward, and Bheda Ghat, and which rocks are there? White marble rock, Bheda Ghat, famous tourist site. Dhuadhar, name itself is speaking too much, that is the waterfall, famous waterfall of Narmada. And here it is correct, but just check here, it is Malwa also given. And Malwa Plateau is western part of the Madhya Pradesh, this side Malwa Plateau. It is partly Gujarat, Rajasthan as well. And Malwa, Mandsaur, Ratlam, Shahjahanpur, Ujjain, Indore, and also little bit till you can say Sagar. But that is finishing here. Jabalpur or this part is not in that zone. Even one more thing you can get, Malwa and Deccan Trap and Swaraj Plateau both are black soil area. Black soil, basaltic rock, and basalt by color is dark color, black color. But here it is white marble rock. So this is wrong here. So option 1 is incorrect. And second option, Hundru river, Hundru waterfall, and Suban Rekha. Suban Rekha is famous river of Chota Nagpur. Suban Rekha south of Damodar. And if you check Suban Rekha river, then here it is Chota Nagpur Plateau, and this river is Damodar. The Saurabh Bengal, southward of that Suban Rekha river, and Suban Rekha river is also making UP this boundary Jharkhand, then also it is entering Odisha and little bit Bengal side also. And here near Ranchi in Jharkhand area, one waterfall, Hundru waterfall is there. So this information is correct. It is correct here. Hundru, Chota Nagpur, Suban Rekha, correct is there. But Gate Sopa, one of the most famous waterfall in the world, Gate Sopa or Jog waterfall, another name Jog, even Mahatma Gandhi waterfall. And Gate Sopa waterfall, Western Ghat area, that is not Netravati, rather Sharavati. Generally we get confused these kind of name. Netravati is more southward. So Netravati is also west flowing river, but famous waterfall, Jog fall or Gate Sopa fall, very well known Sharavati river, not the Netravati river. So, it is also incorrect information. So, only one pair is correct. So, sometimes we get blessing, suppose no one is aware of the Hundru Suvarnrekha, or they are not also not come from Gate Sopa or Netravati, they know jog but not Gate Sopa, they consider 2 and 3 wrong, but Dhuandhar waterfall is correct, even one pair is correct for them. Ultimately, which answer you are getting, suppose you are lucky and you get 1, then it is correct of course the A option. And if we check the third one, on 21st June every year, which of the following latitude experiencing a sunlight of more than 12 hours? One concept is there, day length and night length, that depends upon the latitude. Generally it is very famous term, equator par din raat barabar hote hain, because equator is dividing equally, because of the even tilt differences are there. Suppose sun is here, just check, and earth is like that, earth is tilted like that, this is the northern hemisphere, and if we assume it is 21st June date, luckily after 3-4 days it will be 21st June, and you will be well aware of nowadays more length of the days, even we have the more heat wave, more sunlight is coming, and we are the part of the northern hemisphere, the Cancer line passing through the India also. So, you know it very well, you can check also Tropic of Cancer, we have the long days in 21st June, that is one logic. But if we say that if it is a 21st June condition and northern hemisphere getting more sunlight, just remember that sunlight can reach here. Suppose we say that different color here, that sunlight can reach to this half because of tilt, it is north pole, and sunlight can reach here and here and here and here and here. And this side will be the night, of course, because this part of the sun or sunlight can't reach in this part, it is the night time. Just check here that if length of the night and length of the day, then if it is the day here, then it is the night here on equator, equal day equal night. But as you come to India like Cancer for example here, and you check here, night time is lesser and day time is more sunlight. If earth is rotating also, then more day length. And Arctic circle is further north, Arctic circle further long days, though sunlight is less but length of the day is more. So, it is better that you have to consider that day length is more only on the equator, day length is equal, then and also night length is equal, din raat barabar hai. But in southern hemisphere it is vice versa, night length is more. But question is what? Sunlight of more than 12 hours. So, north of the equator this scenario will occur, north of the equator, and north of the equator only 2 locations, the Cancer and the Arctic circle. 2 and 4, these are the correct option here, D option is correct. So, it is better that whenever you get trapped, then you have to think that right now India has more long days. India is basically famous for Cancer line. Cancer is passing through the India, the middle half of the India, Cancer line is passing through. Then easily you can think of that day length is more here right now, and whichever part in northern hemisphere also, only 2 locations in the northern hemisphere, one is Cancer, another is Arctic circle. So, 2 and 4 is correct. Thank you very much. Rest of the part will be taken care of by other faculties. Thank you.
Hello friends, let's discuss questions of climatology and world geography. This year the geography questions in prelims examination were relatively simple. Except a few questions, most of the questions were direct and they were related to basic concepts of geography. Let's discuss the questions of climatology and world geography. The first question, which was 9th question in the set D, is the longest border between any two countries in the world is between. The first option is Canada and USA, second is Chile and Argentina, China, India, Kazakhstan and Russian Federation. The correct answer is A. Correct answer is A, that is Canada and USA. See, Canada and USA border encompasses entire continent of North America. This border is around 9,000 kilometers long and it passes through the Great Lakes of North America, that is Superior, Huron, Erie and Ontario. It does not pass through Michigan Lake but passes through other 4 lakes of North America. So its length is 9,000 meter and that's why it is a longest border in the world. And one more thing, it is along 49th latitude, that's why it is also called as 49th parallel. The second longest border is between Kazakhstan and Russian Federation. It is more than 7,000 kilometers long. And Chile-Argentina border comes at third in the list and its length is around more than 5,000 kilometers. The length of India-China border is around 4,000 kilometers. So the correct answer is Canada and USA. The second question is, consider the following statements. The first statement is Red Sea receives very little precipitation in any form. That's correct because Red Sea is surrounded by deserts of Africa and Arabian Peninsula. Red Sea is somewhat like this. This is Africa. This is your Arabian Peninsula and this is Red Sea. This is Arabian Peninsula. So this Arabian desert and this African deserts, they surround the Red Sea. And this one is your Red Sea, this area. Okay, it's a kind of rift valley. It is extension of Eastern African Rift Valley, which was created due to faulting or rupturing of the crust. Second option is no water enters the Red Sea from the rivers. This is correct statement. As I told you, Red Sea is surrounded by deserts. Though some seasonal storms, they supply water to the Red Sea, but there is no well-defined river stream which is supplying water to the Red Sea, correct? So that's why second statement is also correct. There is no major river which directly flows into Red Sea. Though, I am repeating, though seasonal rain storms, they create seasonal type of streams, small scale streams which supply water, but there is no well-known or major river which directly connects Red Sea with surrounding territories. And there is one more reason why there is no major river, and that's this region is surrounded by ridges, mountainous ridges are there, whether it is Arabian Peninsula or Eastern Africa. So mountainous ridges are there, and rivers cannot flow against the slope. That's another reason behind lack of any direct river which is draining into Red Sea. Clear? So two reasons which make this second statement correct. One, the area is dry. Okay, there is no kind of major rainfall activity in the surrounding areas, and second is the slope is not towards Red Sea, slope is in opposite direction. Okay, so that's why the first and second both statements are correct. So C will be the correct answer for question number 29. The next question is consider following statements. The first statement is thickness of troposphere at equator is much greater as compared to the poles. This is correct statement because at equator troposphere extends up to the height of around 18 kilometers, whereas near poles it extends up to the height of around 8 kilometers, correct, from the sea level. The upper limit of troposphere or roof of troposphere is called as tropopause, and height of tropopause is higher at equator, lower at poles. Okay, so first statement is definitely correct. The second statement is at the equator heat is transported to great heights by strong convection currents. This is also correct. Near equator the input of solar energy on the surface of earth is high, and because of higher insolation and higher heating, the ascending currents are quite strong. The thermal convection currents are relatively strong. That's why the tropospheric gases and heat, they are transported up to higher height in the form of strong thermal convection currents. In the polar areas, the air is cold, insolation is low, and that's why air contracts. Because of contraction, the troposphere is relatively thinner in that area. And one more thing, let me tell you, this thickness is not variable from equator to pole, it also varies from season to season, because thickness of troposphere is directly related to amount of solar energy received at Earth's surface, and that's why it is thicker in summer season and relatively thinner in winter season, correct. So question is very direct, very simple, it's directly from the class notes. We had discussed this thing in very detail, okay. So kind of very simple type of question. So in this question, statement 1 is correct and statement 2 is not only correct, it is also explanation for statement 1. So A is the correct answer for this question, okay. Statement 1 is correct, statement 2 is correct, and also explanation for statement 1. The next question is, which of the following are correct inferences from isothermal maps in the month of January? So question is about January isotherm. Question is about January isotherm. See, I had discussed in the class, isotherms bend towards poles in the warmer areas and towards equator in the colder areas, because isotherms are lines which connect points of same temperature. Let's imagine this is a Earth's surface and this is, imagine, equator, okay. And let's imagine there is a hypothetical continent like this. This is hypothetical continent. This is hypothetical continent, and let's draw January isotherm. Let's draw January isotherm. Now in January, in northern hemisphere there is winter season, and we all know that in winter season continents are relatively colder than ocean. So imagine we are drawing January isotherm in northern hemisphere, oceans are relatively warmer. So we are connecting the points of same temperature over ocean. As we reach to continent, it is colder and we need same temperature. If we encounter any cold area, we will look for warmer area, okay, because we are looking for same temperature. So basically what will happen in winter season, over continent isotherm will bend towards the equator like this, and over ocean it is bent poleward. So over continent it is bent equatorward, over ocean it is bent poleward, okay. That's the winter isotherm. Same in situation in southern hemisphere. January in southern hemisphere is summer, and summertime continent is hotter. So let's imagine we are drawing isotherm over ocean which is cooler, and we reach to continent which is hotter. So isotherm this time will bend poleward, okay. So in warmer areas they bend towards poles, in colder areas they bend towards equator. That's why in northern hemisphere they bend equatorward, southern hemisphere they bend poleward over continent. Opposite is for ocean. But the question is about ocean. The isotherms deviate to the north over the ocean and to the south over the continent. You can clearly see over ocean they are bent northward in both hemispheres, and over continent you can see they are bent southward. Okay. So, the first statement is correct. Now, the second statement is the presence of cold ocean currents, Gulf Stream, North Atlantic Drift make the Northern Atlantic Ocean colder. This is incorrect because these currents are warm currents. Gulf Stream and North Atlantic Drift, they are warmer. So, they make Northern Ocean warmer, correct? And isotherms bend towards the north, clear? So, they bend towards north, that's correct, because in warm areas they will bend poleward, that's correct. But this is incorrect because of currents. These currents are not cold current, they are warm currents. So, Northern Atlantic Ocean is warmest ocean in the world because of these oceanic currents, okay. So, the second statement is incorrect. That means in this question, the correct option is A. Let us go for next question. The next question is about Africa. The question is, which of the following countries are well known as two largest producers of cocoa in the world? We had discussed in world geography the world's most of the cocoa production that comes from Western Africa, that is near Guinea coast. Ghana, Ivory Coast, Nigeria, Togo, Benin, these are the countries which produce around 85% of total cocoa in the world. So, the options in this question are Algeria and Morocco. No, they are not producers because cocoa is produced in humid conditions, and Algeria and Morocco, they have relatively drier type of weather. Rainfall in these areas is less than 70 centimeter, which is not suitable for cocoa cultivation. Botswana and Namibia, again dry areas. Botswana and Namibia, they are semi-arid and arid areas, which, and anyone who has knowledge about cocoa cultivation can easily say that in dry areas it cannot be cultivated. So, first and second are incorrect. Ivory Coast and Ghana, they are top producers of cocoa in the world, and together these two countries produce more than 60% of global cocoa. 60% of cocoa in the world market is supplied by these two countries. Ivory Coast number 1, Ghana number 2. Madagascar and Mozambique, again they have tropical monsoon type of climate, okay, and they are not even in top 5 producers of cocoa. Okay, so the second is the C is the correct option for this question. Ivory Coast and Ghana, they are top 2 producers of cocoa in the world. Consider the following countries. This is the question from mapping. Finland, Germany, Norway and Russia. How many above countries have border with North Sea? North Sea is surrounded by Britain, Netherlands, Germany, and then there is Norway, okay, and Denmark. These are the countries which surround the North Sea. So, Finland is not near North Sea. Finland is near Gulf of Bothnia and Baltic Sea region. Those water bodies, they have Finland border. So, Finland is not near North Sea. Definitely Germany is there. Northern coast of Germany is near North Sea. Norway is correct answer. And Russia is not there near North Sea. Russia is far away from North Sea. It is near Arctic region, Arctic Ocean region. So, in this question, Germany and Norway, these are 2 correct options. So, only 2, B is the correct answer for this question. Okay. So, it is very simple question, you can check out in Atlas. North Sea, which is near the northwestern Europe, and that area has a good amount of petroleum reserves, okay, and that area is surrounded by Britain, Netherlands, Germany, Denmark, Norway. These are the countries over there. The next question is about water vapor. With reference to water vapor, which of the following statements are correct? Water vapor is a gas, the amount of which decreases with altitude. This is correct statement. Actually, water vapor availability depends on two processes, one evaporation and second is transpiration. Transpiration means loss of water from the plant leaves through stomata. Stomata are minute pores on the plant leaves. And evaporation and transpiration, which supply water vapor to atmosphere, they depend on temperature, correct? Higher is the temperature, higher will be rate of these processes and higher will be concentration of water vapor in the atmosphere. And that's why water vapor availability in the atmosphere is higher in warmer areas and lower in colder areas. And that's why water vapor availability decreases with not only altitude but also with latitude. Okay? So this statement is correct. As we go up, as distance from the mean sea level increases, water vapor availability in the atmosphere decreases. The second is percentage is maximum at poles. I told you polar areas are colder, and in cold areas the humidity or water vapor availability in the air is low due to low rate of evaporation. Okay? And even near the poles, because of ice cover, vegetation is not there. So transpiration is also absent in near the poles. Clear? So high altitude and high latitude areas both have low water vapor availability in the atmosphere. So first statement is correct. Second statement is incorrect because maximum amount of water vapor is available at equator, not near the poles. So in this question, the correct answer is A, one only. The first one is correct answer for question number 72. Consider the following description. This is about a climatic region. Annual and daily ranges of temperature are low. I told you in the class, the annual range or daily range of temperature, that depends on humidity or location of the area. If area is under maritime influence, if it is under the influence of maritime air masses, definitely range will be lower. But as you move to drier areas or areas in the interior part of continent, annual range as well as diurnal range of temperature increases. Okay? So the first statement, annual and daily ranges of temperature are low. So one thing is sure, this area should be receiving either very heavy rainfall or it should be under maritime influence. Okay? Precipitation occurs throughout the year. Okay? And third statement is precipitation varies between 50 centimeter to 250 centimeter. Let's check the options. The first option is equatorial climate. First and second statements are clearly applicable for equatorial climate because equatorial climate receives high rainfall, humidity is high. So annual and daily ranges of temperature are very low in equatorial climate. So this statement is correct for equatorial climate. Precipitation occurs throughout the year. This is also correct for equatorial climate. But in equatorial climate, rainfall is very high. It's more than 250 centimeter per year. Okay. Nowhere in the world equatorial climate will receive rainfall less than 200 centimeter. दुनिया में कहीं भी इक्वेटोरियल क्लाइमेट का जो टेम्परेचर है 200 सेंटीमीटर से कम नहीं होगा. Okay, and that's why equatorial climate is not the correct answer for this question. Why? Because in equatorial climate rainfall will always exceed 200 centimeters per year at least. Okay, China type and humid subtropical climates, basically these names belong to same climatic type. This type of climate is experienced along eastern margin of continent at around 30 to 40 degree latitude. At 30 to 40 degree latitude, at least you can say 25 to 40 degree latitude on the eastern margin of continent, this type of climate is experienced. Okay, but in these climatic types, winter time there are continental air masses. Continental air masses are there, and summer time there are maritime air masses, जिसको अपन मानसून बोलते हैं, maritime air masses. Okay, so summers are relatively hotter, winters are relatively colder. Means annual range of temperature is relatively higher. You cannot say it is low. You can say it is moderate to high. Okay, so that's why these two answers are also not correct. Fourth statement is fourth option is correct. Marine west coast climate, which is also called as British type climate. All three conditions are applicable for marine west coast climate. Because of influence of maritime air masses, ranges of temperature are low, precipitation occurs throughout the year, and second, average annual precipitation in this area is 100 centimeter, but it may vary from 50 to more than 200 centimeters. In Alps mountains region, that is in Western Europe, if the place is on the windward side of mountain, rainfall is relatively high because maritime air masses due to adiabatic cooling cause more rainfall on windward side of mountain. Okay, so due to effect of orography, rainfall may vary from 50 to 250 centimeter. D is correct answer for question number 73. The next question is about Coriolis force. With reference to Coriolis force, which of the following statements are correct? Very simple and direct questions. You can easily find out this answer for this question in NCERT as well as my class notes. Coriolis force increases with increase in wind velocity. Correct. Coriolis force is basically product of change in momentum on the surface of earth. When winds blow from one place to another place, due to change in momentum on the surface of rotating earth, they bend, and this bending force is called as Coriolis force. They bend rightward in northern hemisphere and leftward in southern hemisphere. Magnitude of Coriolis force is directly proportional to wind velocity. Higher is the speed of winds, higher will be Coriolis force, and that's the reason in upper atmosphere where winds blow very fast like jet stream, the bending is almost by 90 degree. So in upper atmosphere, winds blow almost parallel to isobars. We call them geostrophic winds. Okay, and the reason behind formation of geostrophic winds or jet streams is strong Coriolis force. Okay, and it is directly related to wind velocity. Second is, it is maximum at poles and is absent at equator. That's also correct. At equator, Coriolis force is 0. And at poles it is maximum. Why? Because on the surface of earth, as you move towards poles, circumference of latitudes decreases. At equator, all the latitudes have more or less same circumference, and that's why at equator if you move from one latitude to another latitude, Coriolis force momentum does not change. That's why at equator Coriolis force is 0. But in higher latitude areas, circumference of latitudes changes very fast. That's why momentum also changes rapidly, which leads to a stronger Coriolis force. So concept is very simple. Coriolis force is related to second law of Newton. Newton simply stated that force is directly proportional to rate of change of momentum. Okay, higher is the rate of change of momentum, stronger will be Coriolis force, and rate of change of momentum that depends on wind velocity as well as circumference of latitudes. Correct, circumference changes very rapidly near the poles, that's why near poles Coriolis force is stronger. So the first statement as well as second statement both are correct. So in this question the correct answer is C. The next question is about peatland. One of the following regions has world's largest tropical peatland, which holds about 3 years worth of global carbon emissions from fossil fuels and possible destruction of which can exert detrimental effect on global climate. Which of one of the following denotes that region? In world geography we had discussed about Congo basin, Amazon basin, East Indies, that is Indonesian archipelago, and there I had discussed about peatlands. Actually peatlands develop in low-lying areas due to waterlogging and accumulation of organic matter. Correct? So when vegetation is dense, lot of organic matter is supplied by vegetation to the ground, heavy rainfall is there, and water logging happens due to poor drainage. Correct? Drainage is poor drainage. Poor drainage leads to water logging. Correct? These three situations, when these three factors combine, they lead to formation of peatlands. Although Amazon basin is the largest patch of equatorial forest, but the peatlands are most extensive in Congo basin. This is basically question related to current issues. A few years back, Brazzaville declaration was signed in order to conserve the peatlands. Okay, and the major focus was on conservation of the biggest wetlands in the world, biggest peatlands in the world, which are found in Congo basin. Okay, in Congo basin, drainage is very poor. It has bowl-like topography. Rainfall is very heavy, vegetation is very dense, and that's why world's biggest peatlands are found here. At country level, Democratic Republic of Congo has biggest wetlands in the world, biggest peatlands in the world. And this question was asked last year also. Last year they asked this question in the form of cobalt mining. Which country is biggest producer of cobalt in the world? Answer was Democratic Republic of Congo. And because of mining and climate change, the peatlands of Democratic Republic of Congo and Congo basin, they are under threat. Okay, and that's why this question was asked. Peatlands, they are biggest reservoirs of carbon in the terrestrial reservoirs, and degradation of peatlands will release a lot of methane and carbon in the atmosphere, which will further amplify global warming. That's why this question was asked. So in this question, answer is Congo basin. Thank you.
So today we are going to discuss IR questions, and the questions were quite simple, quite easy this time, as we have our syllabus also for prelims, current events of international importance. So the questions are around that only. So let us see the questions. Question number 17, consider the following countries: Italy, Japan, Nigeria, South Korea, South Africa. Which of the above countries are frequently mentioned in the media for their low birth rates or aging population or declining population? So, Italy has been in the news because last year Italy has shown, or it has the lowest ever birth rate per women. वहाँ पे जो है, if you look at the child bearing capacity, it is 1.2. Even very recently Pope has also asked the Italian women to reproduce more children. So, Italy is one country which is facing a very low birth rate, that is correct. So, Italy is correct. Then Japan, we all know that Japan has a very low birth rate, and ये कई time से, कई सालों से we have been knowing that. Then Nigeria, no, it's not the problem there. South Korea, yes, it has been in the news, South Korea, and there also we have read like in the last few months we have read, or you can say last आपके 10-12 महीनों में कई बार newspapers में आया है कि there have been many policies adopted by the South Korean government to help in reproduction of more children, paternity leaves and all. Many things have been, policies have been brought in South Korea because of the declining birth rate there. And South Africa, no, African countries में तो declining है नहीं. So, if you look at the countries here, so the countries which are showing low birth rates or aging population, we have Italy, we have Japan, we have South Korea. So, the answer would be 1, 2 and 4. Answer is A. Very simple question. Now, let us move to the next question. And the next question is, consider the following pairs: country and reason for being in the news. See, the syllabus is saying current events of international importance. So, the countries which have been in the news, that those countries they have been asking, like Italy has been in the news because of low आपका birth rate है ना, South Korea has been in the news because of low birth rate. Here also Argentina, it has been in the news because of the worst economic crisis. Recently also, some time back, we have seen the elections in Argentina. Milei has come to power, and we have seen that the country is going through worst economic crisis, है ना. So, Argentina has been in the news because of worst economic crisis. So, this is correct. Then we have Sudan. Sudan में war between the country's regular army and paramilitary forces. So, this has also been in the news because of the आपका जो war that is going on between army and the paramilitary forces, and at next IAS we have done a complete video on the Sudan crisis also, है ना. तो ये भी आपका जो है correct है. Now, Turkey rescinded its membership of NATO. No, it is still a member of NATO. So, this is wrong. Very straightforward question. So, how many of the pairs given above are correctly matched? Only one pair, only two pairs, all three pairs, none of the pairs. The answer is B. Only two pairs, 1 and 2 is correct and 3 is not correct. Now, consider the following statements. India is a member of the International Grains Council. A country needs to be a member of the International Grains Council for exporting or importing rice and wheat. Which of the statements given above are correct? So, consider the following statements. This question, this International Grains Council, it has been in the news because of that Black Sea Grain Agreement, है ना. पूरे 1-1.5 साल से it has been there in the news. Grains Agreement has been there in the news, and hence they might have asked this question also. So, now let us see the statements. India is a member of the International Grains Council. Yes, this is correct. India is a member of the International Grains Council. This is correct. India is a member of the International Grains Council. A country needs to be a member of the International Grains Council for exporting or importing rice and wheat. No, it is not the necessary condition. Like you have countries like Brazil, you have countries like China who are not the members of International Grains Council, but they export grains, है ना. चाइना जो है wheat export करता है, but it is not a member of आपका जो International Grains Council. So, it is not a necessary condition that the country needs to be a member of the International Grains Council for exporting or importing rice and wheat. So, statement number 2 is wrong. So, which of the statements given above are correct? So, only one is correct, that is India is a member of International Grains Council. Now, question number 41. Consider the following statements. Statement 1, there is instability and worsening situation, security situation in the Sahel region. Sahel region and has been there in the news because of lot of political instability there, lot of humanitarian crisis there, like countries like Burkina Faso, Chad, Niger, there are so many countries in this Sahel region. And if you see the trend of UPSC, even last year many questions around Africa was asked. This year also they have asked questions on Sahel, and if you see PYQ, Sahel region ke around questions have been asked by UPSC, and this time also they are asking the question on Sahel region. The statement is there is instability and worsening security situation in the Sahel region. Statement 2, there have been military takeovers, coups in several countries of the Sahel region in the recent past. So, statement 1 is correct. We have seen that there have been many military takeovers, there have been coups, and Africa is also called as epicenter of coups, and especially Sahel region is known for lot of coups and political instability. So, there is instability and worsening security situation in the Sahel region. This statement is correct. So, this statement is correct that there is instability in the Sahel region. Now, there have been military takeovers, coups in several countries of the Sahel region. This is also correct. Now, let us read the question. Which one of the following is correct in respect of the above statements? Both statement 1 and 2 are correct, and statement 2 explains statement 1. Both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, but statement 2 does not explain statement 1. Statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. And D is statement 1 is incorrect, but statement 2 is correct. So, the statement 1 is also correct, statement 2 is also correct, and statement 2 is the reason because of which there is worsening security situation in this region. So, the correct answer is A. Now, the last question that I will be taking up is question number 47. Consider the following statements. Statement 1, recently Venezuela has achieved a rapid recovery from its economic crisis and succeeded in preventing its people from fleeing, emigrating to other countries. Statement 2, Venezuela has the world's largest oil reserves. Which of the following is correct in respect of the above statements? Statement 1, recently Venezuela has achieved a rapid recovery from its economic crisis and succeeded in preventing its people from fleeing or emigrating to other countries. This is wrong. Still people are emigrating or they are fleeing from Venezuela. Venezuela has been witnessing hyperinflation, it has been witnessing lot of economic crisis, there is poverty, there is lot of human rights violation there. So, people are still moving out of Venezuela. It's not that Venezuela has been successful in preventing its people. Some of the data have shown that almost 8 million people have migrated out of Venezuela even in the recent times. So, this is wrong. This statement is wrong. This is wrong. There have been so this statement is wrong. Statement 1 is wrong. Now, statement 2, Venezuela has the world's largest oil reserves. Yes, Venezuela has one of the highest oil reserves, largest oil reserves in the world. So, statement 1 is wrong, 2 is correct. Statement 1 is incorrect, but statement 2 is correct. So, the correct answer is D. So, these are the 5 questions of IR that I was supposed to take. Thank you.
Good evening all of you. I know you must have had pretty tiring day today. आज थोड़ा थकान वकान लग रहा होगा. But the paper I think would have made you happier. Comparatively पिछले साल से मुझे ऐसा लगा that economy was relatively easy. Even though they did not ask questions from the NCERT level things. लेकिन ज़्यादातर questions जो मैं देख रहा था मुझे लगा कि जो questions थे वो काफ़ी कंट्रोल में रहने वाले क्वेश्चन थे. तो चलिए इकोनॉमी पे हमने डिज़ाइन किया अराउंड 15 odd questions. So 8 odd questions I'll discuss with you, 7 questions Reddy Sir will discuss with you. So let's begin with this one. Consider the following statements. Statement 1, if the USA were to default on its debt, holders of US Treasury bonds will not be able to exercise their claims to receive payment. Statement 2, the USA government debt is not backed by any hard assets but only by the faith of the government. अब समझिएगा एक बात इसमें, इस क्वेश्चन के अंदर जब आप देखेंगे तो स्टेटमेंट 1 ये कहता है that the US government bond were to default on its debt, holders will not, the treasury bond holders will not be able to exercise their claims to receive payment. This is a wrong statement. Why do we say it's a wrong statement? Will not be able के वजह से, they can always go to the court, they can sue in the court. Reuters का एक इसके ऊपर आर्टिकल था पूरा, और ये न्यूज़ में था जब अमेरिका डिफॉल्ट करने की हालत में थी गवर्नमेंट, और गवर्नमेंट क्लोज होने की हालत में थी ड्यू टू अ $31 ट्रिलियन लोन. अमेरिका में एक रूल है कि $30 ट्रिलियन से ज़्यादा आपको कांग्रेस से लेना पड़ता है, स्वीकृति लेनी पड़ती है. यू हैव टू टेक परमिशन फ्रॉम द कांग्रेस, एंड देन देयर वाज अ टसल बिटवीन रिपब्लिकन्स एंड द डेमोक्रेट्स. सो वहाँ से ये क्वेश्चन पिक किया था उन्होंने. बट फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट इज रॉन्ग. The USA government is debt is not backed by any hard asset but only by faith of the government is a right statement. वैसे भी जैसे ही आपको पता चला कि पहला स्टेटमेंट गलत है तो आंसर क्लियर हो जाता है ऐसे ऑप्शंस के साथ. But still the first option is wrong. The second statement is right. US government debt is backed only on the sovereign guarantee of the US government. ये फेडरल रिजर्व ने अपने वेबसाइट पे भी लिख रखा है that US government debt is backed only by the sovereign guarantee of the US government. So statement 1 is incorrect but statement 2 is correct. 31 ये D सेट हम लोग डिस्कस कर रहे हैं. इस क्वेश्चन का जवाब D होगा. The answer to this question will be D. All right? पहला स्टेटमेंट गलत है, दूसरा स्टेटमेंट सही है. तो इसका जवाब क्या होगा? D. The answer to this question is D. The first statement is wrong and the second statement is right. Why is the first statement wrong? It says the holders will not be able to recover. They can always try recovering by suing in the court, or they can try recovering by selling in the secondary market even after the default has happened. Some part can be recovered if it has been hedged or bet against. So that ways. Second part is right, of course. Government debt is not backed by any hard asset. Hard asset का मतलब होता है जैसे gold, और hard asset means some kind of land or building. उससे ये backed नहीं होता. Then see, question number 32 was another question from economics. Syndicated lending spreads the risk of borrower default across multiple lenders. Syndicated loan can be fixed amount, lump sum of funds, but cannot be a credit line. Again remember the first statement is right, क्योंकि ये first statement जो है ये syndicated loan का अपने आप में definition है. There is a definition of syndicated loan that it spreads the risk of borrower default across multiple lenders. इसको कभी कभी fragmented lending भी कहा जाता है, but syndicated lending is a more popular name. कभी कभी आप देखेंगे lending consortium word भी यूज होता है. So whether you use the word syndicated lending, lending consortium, fragmented lending, it's the same, where the idea is that the risk of borrower default is spread across multiple lenders. The syndicated loan can be fixed amount, lump sum of fund, but cannot be a credit line is wrong. It can be a credit line also. So statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. So here the answer will be C. For 32, our answer will be C. Statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. Why is statement 2 incorrect? Because of this line. Cannot be a credit line. It can be a credit line. Okay, next question we go to. Consider the following statements in respect of the digital rupee. अगर तुम्हें याद होगा हमारी करंट अफेयर की क्लास में ये तीनों पॉइंट मैंने आपके साथ डिस्कस किया था. So if you have the current affair class notes, I'm sure you must have got this right. इनफैक्ट जो 31st क्वेश्चन था वो भी अगर आपको याद हो, वी वर डिस्कसिंग द सिलिकॉन वैली बैंक एंड ऑल, एंड आई हैड टोल्ड यू दैट यूएस फेडरल रिजर्व डेट एंड सो ऑन, दैट स्टोरी. Anyways, coming here, it is a sovereign currency issued by RBI, alignment with its monetary policy. That's true. It appears as a liability on the RBI's balance sheet. True. Don't forget, any money printed by RBI or any amount issued by RBI will be a liability for RBI. It is insured against inflation by its very design. Completely incorrect. How can currency be insured against inflation? अगर इन्फ्लेशन बढ़ा तो करेंसी वैल्यू जरूर नीचे जाएगी. सो करेंसी इज नेवर इंश्योर्ड अगेंस्ट इन्फ्लेशन. सेंट्रल बैंक डिजिटल करेंसी बिहेव्स लाइक अ नॉर्मल करेंसी, इज नॉट इंश्योर्ड बाय अगेंस्ट इन्फ्लेशन. सो थर्ड स्टेटमेंट इज इनकरेक्ट. इट इज फ्रीली कन्वर्टेबल अगेंस्ट कमर्शियल बैंक मनी एंड कैश. ट्रू. ये आरबीआई ने अपने फैक्चुअल पे थिंग्स में भी लिखा, और ये बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा, पंजाब नेशनल बैंक, इन सब ने भी अपने साइट पे दे रखा है. If you recall, when we were discussing on this, I had informed you 1, 2 and 4 are the right statements. So question number 1, 2 and 4 are the right statements. All right. So your answer will be 33D. Your answer will be 33D. All right. 1, 2 and 4 will be the right statement. 1 is the right statement because it is a sovereign currency. Because CBDC is like any other normal currency issued by RBI. Appears as a liability on RBI's balance sheet. Obviously, all currency is liability of RBI. Insured against inflation by its very design, not correct at all. Freely convertible against commercial bank money and cash, correct again. So 1, 2 and 4. 33 our answer is D. अब 34 देखिए, 42 देखिए, ये भी एक इकोनॉमिक्स का क्वेश्चन था, और ये क्वेश्चन अगेन पूछा गया था क्योंकि एप्पल के एक्सपोर्ट जो है, द इंपोर्ट जो है वो अराउंड 40% बढ़े इस साल फ्रॉम यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स. सो इट सेज इंडिया डज नॉट इंपोर्ट एप्पल्स फ्रॉम यूएस ऑफ ए. दैट्स अ रॉन्ग स्टेटमेंट. ये जो स्टेटमेंट है कि भारत एप्पल इंपोर्ट ही नहीं करता यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स से, ये गलत है. बिकॉज इसी साल इनफैक्ट ट्रेड में रिपोर्ट था कि यूएसए से एप्पल के इंपोर्ट 40% बढ़ गए हैं. In India, the law prohibits the import of genetically modified food without the approval of competent authority is a correct statement. So statement 1 is incorrect, statement 2 is correct. 42, your answer is D. India does not import apple, galat hai. It imports apple from United States, and in India the law prohibits the import of genetically modified food without the approval of competent authority is right. Statement 2 is correct, statement 1 is incorrect. चलिए next question पे चलें. With reference to प्रधानमंत्री श्रम योगी मान धन योजना, consider the following statements. The entry age group for enrollment in the scheme is 21 to 50 years. So when we talk about this, you know, यहाँ पर गलती क्या है, 21 to 40 years, ये 18 to 40 years है, 21 to 40 नहीं. अगेन अगर आपको याद हो, करंट अफेयर्स में हम लोग ये बात कर रहे थे, एज स्पेसिफिक कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन शैल बी मेड बाय द बेनिफिशियरी. यू रिमेंबर 55 rupees to 300 rupees, we had talked about that, and age specific contribution to be made by the beneficiary. age specific का मतलब क्या हुआ कि जैसे आप लेट ज्वाइन करेंगे तो ज़्यादा पैसे देंगे. if you are joining the scheme later, you will pay more, and if you are joining it earlier, you will pay lesser. तो age specific contribution shall be made by beneficiary, ये correct statement है. Each subscriber under the scheme shall receive a minimum pension of 3,000 after attaining age of 60 years is again right. यही तो scheme है कि जो भी subscriber हैं उन्हें 3,000 rupees per month after the age of 60 years they will be receiving. And family pension is applicable to the spouse and unmarried daughter. ये गड़बड़ कर दिया. अगर spouse लिखा होता तो correct होता. Had it been only spouse, the statement would have been correct. But because of the presence of the language unmarried daughter, it goes incorrect. Spouse are allowed to receive it. Unmarried daughters are not allowed. So the answer is 2 and 3 are correct. Question number 50, our answer is B. Question number 50, our answer is B. चलिए अगले सवाल पे चलते हैं. ये सीधा अखबार से उठा के पूछा उन्होंने. इस पे एक PIB भी सरकार का आया था. It was from the current affairs newspapers, and in PIB of the government also mentioned it. that consider the following airports: Donny Polo Airport, Kushinagar International Airport, Vijayawada International Airport, and which of the above have been constructed as greenfield project? Donny Polo in Arunachal is a greenfield project. Sun and Moon इसका मतलब होता है. कुशीनगर इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट इज अनदर ग्रीनफील्ड प्रोजेक्ट. यूपी में ये अभी इनॉग्रेट हुआ था कुछ साल पहले, कुछ महीने पहले. विजयवाड़ा इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट हैज बीन given the status of international airport in 2017, but the airport exists from the past. ये एयरपोर्ट को इंटरनेशनल स्टेटस दिया गया 2017 में, लेकिन एयरपोर्ट पास्ट में एग्जिस्ट करता है. तुम कभी कभी अगर गूगल सर्च वगैरह करोगे तो कुछ लोग इसको ग्रीनफील्ड प्रोजेक्ट बताते हैं, बट एक्चुअली ये ग्रीनफील्ड नहीं है, एज शोन बाय द PIB ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट. सो विजयवाड़ा इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट इज नॉट greenfield. Our answer to question 71 is A, 1 and 2 only. विजयवाड़ा का जो एयरपोर्ट है ये वर्ल्ड वॉर 2 के वक्त से रहा है. ये इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट जो बनाया गया 2017 में इसको कन्वर्ट किया गया, बट दैट्स नॉट अ ग्रीन फील्ड प्रोजेक्ट. द ग्रीन फील्ड प्रोजेक्ट मीन्स इट शुड स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द स्क्रैच. शुरुआत से पूरा एयरपोर्ट बनाए कोई आदमी इनको, तो उसे ग्रीन फील्ड कहते हैं. ये डॉनी पोलो एंड कुशीनगर पे ट्रू है. सो योर आंसर विल बी 71A. द आंसर विल बी 71A. चलिए अगले सवाल पे चलते हैं. The total fertility rate in an economy is defined as, अगर ये ख्याल हो तुम्हें, क्लास में बहुत बार मैं बोलता था, हमेशा ऐसे बोलता भी हूँ, मेरी बकबक सुन लिया करो, तो तुम्हें ध्यान होगा मैं तुम्हें बोल रहा था that India's total fertility rate is now below 2.1, which we call as replacement rate. तो total fertility rate क्या है? The average number of live births a woman would have by the end of their childbearing age. एक woman अपने childbearing age में कितना लाइव बर्थ, कितने बच्चे उनके पास जिंदा बच्चे रहेंगे. दैट्स आवर एवरेज नंबर ऑफ लाइव बर्थ्स अ वुमन वुड हैव बाय द एंड ऑफ हर चाइल्ड बियरिंग एज. सो नंबर ऑफ चाइल्ड बॉर्न पर 1000 पीपल इन द पॉपुलेशन अ ईयर, or the number of children born to a couple in their lifetime, the birth rate minus death rate, that's not fertility rate. Fertility rate का मतलब one woman, how many children would she have? One woman, I'm sorry, how many children would she have during her lifespan, reproductive lifespan? That is total fertility rate. India has recently gone below the replacement rate of 2.1. 2 has become the total fertility rate, due to which this question has been asked. 81, your answer is D. 81, your answer is D. And then 82, consider the following statements. In India, the non-banking finance company can access the liquidity adjustment facility window of RBI. Incorrect. NBFCs को LAF में पार्टिसिपेट करना अलाउड नहीं है. NBFCs can participate in the money market, but NBFCs cannot participate in the LAF. तो पहला स्टेटमेंट गलत हो जाता है. फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट इज रॉन्ग. In India, FIIs can hold government securities. Correct? Absolutely. FIIs are allowed to hold government securities. There are conditions under which they can hold it, but they are allowed to hold government securities. And in India, stock exchanges can offer separate trading platforms for debts. Correct? Can offer की वजह से ये statement right हो गया. अगर always offer होता तो गलत हो जाता. Can offer. If required, bond market can be separate from stock market. If required, debenture markets can be separate from stock and bond market. So there can be separate trading platform for debts by stock market. In India, stock exchanges are allowed to do that. So the answer is D. 2 and 3 only are correct. In India, the stock exchanges can offer separate trading platform. All right, these are the questions I had to discuss with you. तुम्हें अगर कोई भी डाउट हो, कोई भी दिक्कत हो, नेक्स्ट IAS आपको सपोर्ट करने को तैयार है. आप ज़रूर नेक्स्ट IAS पे आइए. Do come over to next IAS, talk to us, you can clear your doubts. If you are a next IAS student listening to me, you guys are ours anyways. तुम तो हमारे ही बच्चे हो. जब मन करे आओ, किसी को कोई डाउट पूछना है, कोई भी बात हो, टेलीग्राम पे मुझसे टाइम लो और ज़रूर आओ. Let's meet and discuss it together. मेंस की भी क्लासेस अभी शुरू होंगी. जो एडवांस्ड कोर्स एंड ऑल है उनकी भी तैयारी शुरू कर लो. वेट मत करना. इस बात के साथ तुम्हें आज छोड़ूंगा. टेक अ कपल ऑफ डेज रेस्ट. डोंट मेक इट मोर देन 2 days रेस्ट. 2 दिन रेस्ट के बाद लग जाओ वापस पढ़ाई में. जो सपोर्ट चाहिए हमें बताओ, वी विल बी डूइंग इट. बट 2 दिन से ज़्यादा का रेस्ट मत लेना. मेंस अभी बाकी है मेरे दोस्तों. बाय बाय, ऑल द बेस्ट, हैव अ ग्रेट डे टुनाइट. आज तो खूब मस्ती करो. डे आफ्टर टुमारो से पढ़ने बैठ जाना. ऑल द बेस्ट ऑल ऑफ यू. बाय बाय.
Let's move to the next question. See the next question. They were asking us about in India, which of the following can trade in corporate bonds and government securities. See, here they are asking us who can invest in corporate bonds and government securities. See, they are asking select the correct answer. So, insurance companies, yes, they can invest, pension funds they can invest, retail investors also. So, answer is all the above, D is the correct answer. Let us move to the next question. Next question they are asking us, consider the following, which of the above are considered the financial instrument. See, whenever the word financial instrument is, they talk about either money market or the capital market. Here they give some instruments, they are asking us which of the following are part of financial instruments. Exchange traded funds, ETFs, as we all aware, ETFs, we can purchase bulk company shares like Sensex ETF, Nifty ETF, Gold ETF. Here it is like a stock market plus mutual funds, risk is less, and we can buy today, sell evening or tomorrow also, that is a tradable. So, ETF is the part of financial instruments. Motor vehicles, no. Currency swaps, we study in the classroom also. Derivatives market, swaps, currency swaps, options, futures, forwards, everything is the derivative market. It is a part of financial markets. So, answer is 1 and 3 is correct. Let us move to the next question. Next question they were asking us with reference to the sectors of Indian economy. It is a very basic question. We studied in the basics classes also, 3 sectors of economy, the primary sector, the secondary sector, tertiary sector. Generally the primary sector, which depends on natural resources, the secondary sector, some value addition like construction, mining, manufacturing, electricity generation, secondary sector, then tertiary sector like trading, service sector like army, navy, air force, public administration. Now look at the options here, they are asking us storage of agricultural produce, it is not part of secondary. Then dairy farm, primary sector, yes, it is correct. Agriculture, animal husbandry, part of primary sector. So we can eliminate here all the 4 options. Mineral exploration, tertiary sector, see, people may confuse here. Mineral extraction is different, that is a part of secondary sector, you see NSO classification. Mining is a part of secondary sector, but when we use the word mineral exploration, it talks about the mapping point, research and development. So it is a part of tertiary sector, right? Then weaving cloth, it is a secondary sector, manufacturing. So answer is only 3 is the correct option. Let us move to the next question. With reference to the physical capital, see, very nice question, is the basic question. Vibhas Sir also covered in starting first 3 classes basics. With reference to the physical capital in India, Indian economy, consider the following pairs. They are asking us types of capital, match the following. Which of the above pairs are correctly matched? See, farmers plow, working capital, no. Remember, working capital means for day-to-day expenditure purpose. Then computer fixed capital, yes, it is correct statement. Iron used by the weaver, it is intermediate product, it is not a fixed capital. Petrol, again it is not a working capital. So here only 1 is correct, A is the correct answer. Let us move to the next question. With reference to the rules imposed by Reserve Bank of India, we all aware RBI is the banker to the banks, bank to the central government, regulatory functions, supervisory functions. It has multiple functions. They are asking about foreign banks here. See the question. Imposed by the Reserve Bank of India, while treating foreign banks, they are asking about foreign banks. Consider the following statements. Again, they are asking about correct statement. Friends, remember, whenever you are reading a question, look at properly, either they are asking correct statement or not correct statement. They are asking us correct statement. Now look at the first statement. There is no minimum capital requirements for wholly owned banking subsidiaries in India. It is absolutely wrong statement. For any bank in India, be it commercial banks, domestic banks, or the government banks, or private banks, or foreign banks, RRBs, even payment banks, small finance banks, minimum capital required. So it is a wrong statement. For wholly owned banking subsidiaries in India, at least 50% of board members should be from Indian nationals. Yes, absolutely right. So statement 2 is correct. So only B is the correct answer. Let's move to the next question. With reference to the corporate social responsibility CSR, there were so many articles in the newspaper CSR, even we covered in the industry classes also. With reference to CSR in India, consider the following statements. Which of the above statements above are correct? They are asking again correct statement. CSR rules specify that expenditures that benefit the company directly or employees will not be considered as CSR activities. Yes, it is the right statement. CSR rules do not specify minimum spending on CSR activities. Wrong statement. You might have heard, we studied also 2% minimum condition is there. So 2 is wrong statement. Eliminated 2. So answer is only A is the correct option. Let's move to the next question. With reference to the Indian economy, collateral borrowing and lending obligations. See here, friends, here students may confuse. They are asking about the collateral borrowings, lending obligations. These are regulated by Reserve Bank of India. So RBI means money market, money market. Money market means less than 1 year, we deal less than 1 year. And we have a capital market greater than or is equal to 1 year. So if someone is taking loan or lending or borrowing for more than 1 year or equal to 1 year, part of capital market, it is regulated by the Securities Exchange Board of India, SEBI. Now look at the question. Collateral borrowing and lending obligations are the instruments of bond market, no. Forex market, no. Money market, yes. It is a part of money market. Here let's say you have treasury bills, for example. You can use the treasury bills and keep and take some loan. That is the meaning of here collateral borrowing, lending obligations. Stock market, no. Answer is C is the correct answer.
Hi there, this is Alok, Ranjan. This is like return of an era. when I was looking at the question paper, and I realized that in 2005 and 10, the same pattern was there. Therefore, the qualifying marks was really high. So, don't get excited if you are scoring 90 or 95. This is not going to be the same. Congratulations, geography students. You must have been delighted today, because there are number of questions. Almost 40 questions are either from geography or geography environment. So, I hope my optional students are really excited today. The questions have been asked from the fundamental books and the basic books, basic mapping. There is nothing like current affair. So, all the factual things have reappeared after a decade, and this is looking very funny to me, because everyone was expecting on those new trends which have emerged based on current affair. It hasn't happened this year. This is my point of view on it. Now, there is nothing much to discuss, because most of you must be thinking, answer bata do yaar, main. Where is the question? Where are the questions? Acha, then I have to slide, okay. Question number 53, I will discuss only 3 questions with you, because most of the questions have been discussed. Now, questions on TFR and demography. So, especially for the geography optional students, you have to count at least 30 today, or maybe 35 today. The minimum you have to count. But for core geography, for GS students, this is one of the questions which have come from volcanism, and the answer will be all 4. All 4 are correct. How many of the above are products of volcanic eruption? Volcanic eruption ka product kya hai? What all comes out? So, pyroclastic debris, pyro meaning fire, clastic meaning those solids. Pyroclast are the like the bombs, the lapilli, so these are the some conical materials, those which are solid material with fire, red colored, orange color rather, they are called pyroclast. So, obviously, this one is correct. Ash and dust, there is a difference in ash and dust. Ash will be the burnt out materials, and dust will be the rock, fine rock particles. So, they obviously come out. There are 3 major gases coming out, compound gases coming out of volcanic eruption. One is the one is water vapor will top, and then you have sulfuric gases like sulfur compound and nitrogen compounds. So, obviously, all 4 are correct. Now, let us move to the next question. 57. There was one question, there is one 54 number question, isotherm. So, all of you will remember that I have been teaching this particular behavior of the isotherm over land and sea. So, that question has come. That question is from oceanography also. It is in NCERT, very simple. Now, if you look at these 2 statements here, I have already said many times in the classes, in my GS classes, that the time for assertion reasoning is back again, and that is what is being seen in this question paper. So, statement 1 is rainfall is one of the reasons for weathering of rocks. Obviously, yes, there is. It will not take an Einstein to think. It is a very common general knowledge based question. So, rainfall is responsible for weathering of rocks, and then rain water contains carbon dioxide in solution. So, when the raindrop comes down, the gravity fall of raindrops, they will dissolve the CO2 which is in the air. So, they do have this, and that helps in dissolution. So, both statements are correct, and the correct answer will be A. So, go for A in this case. Now, the question number 3, consider the following information. ये थोड़ा tricky था, it was a little tricky, because here you have to read, you have to emphasize here, in how many of the above rows is the given information correctly matched? How many rows you have to count? Central Vosges not correct, because Vosges is not a fold mountain. Vosges and Black Forest are basically along the Rhine valley, and they are block mountains, they are not fold mountains. Similarly, you have Alps mountain as block mountain, absolutely wrong, because Alps mountains are fold mountains almost of the same Himalayan origin. Now, Alps mountain starts from the from France, Jura mountain, Jura bhi hai uska part hai. So, it is like the simplest possible question ever in the history of UPSC, I will call it. So, North America appellation is correct, fold mountain, yes, correct. Appellation mountains are fold mountain, that's true. Now, fold mountains are divided into A, the Proterozoic mountain, B, the Caledonian, C, the Hercynian, and fourth, the Alpine. So, this one is, appellation is an example of Hercynian fold mountain. I hope you remember it because this was taught in the class while discussing mountain building sometime. Now, the fourth one, South America Andes fold mountain. So, very easy for you. 3 and 4 are correct. So, here the answer will be 2, only 2. 2 of them are correct. There was a trick, however, while solving this question. Thank you so much. All the best from my side. Bye bye and take care.
Okay. So, now we are going to discuss the questions for polity. So, let us have a look at the questions. The first question we are looking at is which of the following statements are correct about the Constitution of India? The first question is, the first statement is powers of municipalities are given in part 9A of the Constitution. So, if you look at the part 9A of the Constitution, it talks about the municipalities. There is article 243W which talks about the powers to be given to the municipality. So, this statement is a correct statement. Then emergency provisions are given in part 18 of the Constitution. This is again a correct statement. Then provisions related to the amendment of the Constitution are in part 20 of the Constitution. Article 368 is part 20. So, this statement is also correct statement. So, the answer will be D. Okay. The answer will be D, right. Now, the next question we are looking at is, under which of the following articles of the Constitution of India has the Supreme Court of India placed the right to privacy? So, this question most of you are aware. I think this is one of the easiest question which has come. Recently judgment was there of the Supreme Court also, electoral bonds case. So, right to privacy, article 21 Puttaswamy case, it was decided. So, answer will be D. Now, the next question. So, question 23. A writ of prohibition is an order issued by the Supreme Court or High Courts to. So, the first statement is a government officer prohibiting him from taking a particular action. So, if we literally go by what is the meaning of prohibition, this statement does not appear to be a correct statement. Second one, the Parliament Legislative Assembly to pass a law on prohibition. Supreme Court and High Court cannot direct the Parliament to pass a law. The lower court prohibiting continuation of proceedings in a case, this is the correct statement. Okay? The last statement is the government is prohibiting it, the government prohibiting it from following an unconstitutional policy. This is not the correct statement. C is the answer to this question. Now, let us have a look at the next question. The next question is question 45 in this paper. With reference to the Parliament of India, consider the following statements. First statement is, prorogation of a house by the President of India does not require the advice of the Council of Ministers. So, if you go by the way the President operates, article 75, President is working on the advice of Council of Ministers in the normal course of action. So, this will not be a correct statement. because it is saying that President is not requiring the advice of Council of Ministers. So this is not a correct statement in this question. Now second statement is prorogation of a house is generally done after the house is adjourned sine die, but there is no bar to the President of India prorogating the house which is in session. This is the correct statement. Normally prorogation happens in the same way. Prorogation means we all know closing down the session formally. So speaker adjourns the house sine die and then the President calls it off through prorogation. So this statement is a correct statement because the President does have power to call it off before adjourning it also. Now third statement is dissolution of the Lok Sabha is done by the President of India, who, save in exceptional circumstances, does so on the advice of Council of Ministers. So this is a correct statement. Under normal course of action, once a government has got majority, the President will dissolve the Lok Sabha only on the recommendation of the Council of Ministers. But suppose no party had got majority, suppose we have a coalition government today and suddenly some government is, the government is losing majority and the other parties cannot form the government. When will the President dissolve the Lok Sabha? It will entirely be up to the discretion of the President. So except in those extraordinary cases, the normal course is President will dissolve it on the advice of Council of Ministers. So the answer will be, if you look at this question, 2 and 3. So C will be the correct answer. Okay. So if you look at these questions, they were pretty straightforward questions in polity. I think everything is normally discussed in the classes. I mean, you will find almost everything straight away coming from things which you study normally. So you don't need to worry about many of these questions. There are very few questions in polity this time where we actually have any doubt. The answers are very, very straightforward. Okay? Thank you.
Good evening, welcome to all of you. So, we are going to discuss few questions of polity. Before I start my discussion, just two insight from my side. First important thing, this year polity question paper was relatively, I would rate it moderate, and in terms of complication, it was less complicated in comparison to last year. Obviously, it will lead to little bit a higher cutoff, but this cutoff is not going to be something very high, but obviously it is going to be relatively high, maybe around 100 or near around that. So, let us start our questions. Now, let us come to the first question. Which of the following statement about the ethics committee in the Lok Sabha are correct? So, initially it was an ad hoc committee, this statement is correct. It was actually under Lok Sabha Speaker CM Bal Yogi 2000. At that time it was just a ad hoc committee which was later made as a permanent committee. Only, so this statement is correct, only a member of the Lok Sabha can make complaint. Now this statement is incorrect. Not only a member of Lok Sabha, anyone can complain against member of the Lok Sabha. So this statement, it make it incorrect. Not only a member of Lok Sabha, but technically any person can complain against MPs. This committee cannot take up any matter which is sub judice. Sub judice means which is pending in the court. Technically, none of the committees, not only ethical committee, none of the committee can take any matter which is actually sub judice. So this statement is, this committee cannot take up any matter which is sub judice. This statement is correct. So statement number 1 and statement number 3 is correct, and statement number 2 is incorrect. So 1 and 3. Now let us go to this one. As per Article 368, as per Article 368 of the Constitution, the Parliament may amend any provision of the Constitution by the way of. Look, here they are simply talking about by the way of means they can add on something in Constitution, they can make any changes or modification in existing any clauses, or even they can repeal. So technically, when we talk about amendment, so amendment can be done by adding something, amendment can be done by repealing something or making changes in the existing clauses. So technically this all is 1, 2 and 3. This all 3 options are correct. I guess this was simple. Now let us go for the next. Which of the following statement are correct in respect of money bill? In respect of money bill, Article 109 mentions, देखिए technical word है special provisions. Some student may get confused. Article 108 define money bill, but here they are talking about Article 109 mentions a special procedure in respect of money bill. This statement is correct. Now next one, a money bill shall not be introduced in the Council of State. That is also a correct. A money bill shall not be introduced in Council of State. So a money bill can be introduced, you all have studied it, it can be introduced in only Lok Sabha, only Lok Sabha. The Rajya Sabha can either approve, means say yes to the bill passed by Lok Sabha, the bill, or suggest changes, but cannot reject it. That simply means money bill cannot be rejected by the Rajya Sabha. So Rajya Sabha has option to say it yes, and they can suggest some changes, but those changes are not binding over the Lok Sabha. So in simple words, when it comes to the power of Rajya Sabha in context of money bill, Rajya Sabha has only one option: accepting it, suggesting it, and you all already know that they can keep the bill inside the Rajya Sabha up to 14 days. So technically, the Rajya Sabha can either approve the bill or suggest changes, but cannot reject. This statement is also correct. Now amendment to a money bill suggested by the Rajya Sabha have to be accepted by Lok Sabha. No, it is not binding on Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha may or may not accept. So this statement is correct, this statement is correct, and this statement is correct. Money bill shall not be introduced in the Council of Ministers. This statement is correct. So technically answer C. As I said, this year polity questions are less complicated, it's straightforward basically if you compare it to the last year. Now come for this part. With the reference to the union budget, consider the following statement: the union finance minister on the behalf of the prime minister. Now here this is on behalf of Prime Minister. It is not on behalf of Prime Minister. President, on behalf of President. So, this statement is incorrect. The Union Finance Minister on the behalf of Prime Minister lays the annual financial statement before both the houses of the parliament. It become incorrect because of this. Now, the second one, at the union level, no demands for a grant can be made except on the recommendation of the president. This statement is correct. That is why all money bills are introduced in the Lok Sabha only on the recommendation of the president. So, this statement is correct. Again, simple and straightforward. Little bit trick was over here, like the word prime minister has been inserted, but still it can be managed. Now, let us go for the next question. With the reference to the speaker of the Lok Sabha, consider the following. While any resolution for the removal of speaker, term is removal of the speaker of Lok Sabha is under consideration, he / she shall not be presiding officer. That is true. If a resolution of removal is pending, so speaker cannot be presiding officer. Now, he or she shall not have the right to speak. This statement is incorrect. He / she shall not be entitled to vote on the resolution. देखिए यहाँ तक shall not be entitled to vote on the resolution in the, if this instead of first instance, if casting vote over there, then the answer will be changed, but they mention it in the first stance. This make this statement, he shall not be entitled to vote on the resolution in the first stance. If it would have been casting, then it would have been incorrect, but if it is the first stance, then a speaker can vote in the first stance. A speaker can vote in the first stance. इसको हम ऐसे भी समझ सकते थे. If the speaker is not presiding officer, but speaker remain as a member of parliament. Being a member of parliament, he has a power to speak and he has a power to vote. But as he is not a presiding officer, so his vote is going to be at first stance, not as a casting vote. तो अगर confusion हो सकता था तो ये हो सकता था कि casting vote और first stance में, लेकिन यहाँ question पूछा है first stance में. So ये statement, he / she shall not be entitled to vote on the resolution in the first stance is actually incorrect. Technically, he or she shall be entitled to vote on the resolution in the first stance. Okay, मैं repeat कर देता हूँ. He / she shall not be presiding officer, that is correct. Shall not have the right to speak, have right to speak, and have a right to vote in the first stance. Do not have right to vote in case of casting. So technically, now you can find out this statement is incorrect, this statement is incorrect, but this statement is correct. Again guys, these are simple and straightforward questions. Here, with reference to the Parliament of India, consider the following statement. Prorogation of a house by President of India does not require the advice of Council of Minister. Prorogation of house by the President of India does not require the advice of the Council of Minister. Require advice of Council of Minister. Prorogation of house is generally done after the house is adjourned, or that should be adjourned, sine die, but there is no bar to the President of India prorogating the house which is in session. Correct. Dissolution of the Lok Sabha is done by the President of India, who, save in exceptional circumstances, does so on the advice of the Council of Minister. दिस स्टेटमेंट इज करेक्ट. कुछ लोगों को इस स्टेटमेंट थोड़ा कन्फ्यूजन हो सकता था कि व्हाट इफ नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन हैज बीन पास्ड अगेंस्ट गवर्नमेंट एंड देयर इज नो गवर्नमेंट, इन सच सिचुएशन हाउ president take decision. But in general sense this statement is correct technically. So now this is how the answer is going to be. Okay guys, so we are in the last question. Now all the questions has been discussed. Again I will repeat, this question paper is moderate, less complicated, straightforward, and merit is relatively, cutoff is relatively going to be high, but don't get panic, it's not going to be very high. Thank you to all of you.
Hello students, I am stepping in to explain about the Prelims Analytica initiative of Next IAS. It's already gone live. More than 1,000 students have already filled up their information on the portal. Prelims Analytica is an advanced and comprehensive analysis of your prelims performance. It's a portal which is on the Next IAS website. So how do you access it? You go on to nextias.com website, and on the left hand side top corner you will see the Next IAS Prelims Analytica link. Once you click on it, you will be redirected to a page where you will have to provide your mobile number and verify it with an OTP, and once you provide that, you will have to select which particular set of the paper have you attempted, and for each question what choice have you made, question number 1, question number 2, like that you will have to choose. If you have attempted 70 questions or 80 questions, you will have to select your choices for the respective questions. Once you finish the choices that you have selected, you can generate the report, and Prelims Analytica report will have multiple parameters. In fact, it has around 22 parameters on which it is analyzing your performance. It will have what is a peak score of students who have attempted at a particular ratio. It will have what are some of the most solved questions, which makes it the most easiest questions in the examination. What are some of the least solved questions in the examination, which is some of the most difficult questions in the examination. Difficulty assessment on the basis of relative performance. What are some of the questions which has been only solved by 1% of the student? What are questions which has been solved by 10%, 20%, like that. And this is dynamic in nature. It will be assessed on the basis of students' performance. And then you have various types of questions. You can filter on the basis of that. You can have question-wise distractor. So whenever a student gets a question wrong, there is a wrong choice that they make, and in certain cases there are patterns created where certain questions are considered as the top distractive choice. So for each question you will also see that which was the choice that was made by students who got the questions maximum wrong, right? And most difficult questions attempted students score, like what is the score range that has been achieved by students who have achieved solved the most difficult questions. Questions by difficulty, that's the difficulty that we have set as an absolute difficulty by our faculty and our in-house team. We define certain questions are difficult. This is one of the parameters. Paper profile will be provided, a median score you can arrive at, examination summary. Nature of questions, there is a cross filtration on the basis of macro subjects, micro subjects, types of questions. That means you can identify questions that you have solved from Polity, which is dynamic in nature, which is difficult. So you can cross filter and understand your performance in a thorough manner. And above all, with the data that we are getting through Prelims Analytica, we are able to arrive at a scientific cutoff, which is based on data and not based on assumptions and presumptions, right? So I hope you will find this as exciting as we have found, and you will come on our website and you will solve, provide your inputs for Prelims Analytica. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, I hope this prelims you are satisfied with your performance, and without taking much time, let us come to the answers to the questions that you all are waiting for. So the first question is, how many delimitation commissions have been constituted by the Government of India till December 2023? So the answer to this question is D. The answer is D 4. 52, 1952, 1962, 1972 and 2002. Through the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976. After this, it was frozen for 25 years, and that is why we did not have a delimitation commission till 2002. Then, since this time also the delimitation had been frozen for next 25 years, and it is expected that by 2026 we will be having next delimitation. Okay, so answer is D, 4. Then another question, the Constitution 71st Constitutional Amendment Act 1992 amends the 8th schedule to the Constitution to include which of the following languages. We know that 8th schedule is about the scheduled languages. So through the 71st, Konkani, Manipuri and Nepali was added. You remember in 1992 we discussed that Manipuri was added as one of the scheduled languages. So we know there is an unfortunate situation going on in Manipur, and UPSC has asked this question. So answer will be A, 1, 2 and 3. Maithili was added through 92nd Constitutional Amendment Act 2003. Maithili, that means it is still a language in the 8th schedule, but it was not added through this Amendment Act. So answer will be A. Then the third questions, this question is from internal security. This question is directly from our notes. Operations undertaken by army towards upliftment of the local population in remote areas to include addressing of their basic needs, it is called as Operation Sadbhavna. This is C, Operation Sadbhavna. If you look at our notes, it is directly mentioned in our notes, Operation Sadbhavna. It is a unique human initiative by Indian Army. Okay, so the answer to that question is C, Operation Sadbhavna. I wish you all the best for mains preparation. Thank you.
हेलो स्टूडेंट्स, आई होप आपका प्रीलिम्स बहुत अच्छा गया होगा एंड आज हम लोग उस प्रीलिम्स के क्वेश्चंस डिस्कस करेंगे. वी विल डिस्कस द क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम द जनरल साइंस. तो जनरल साइंस के कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस हैं जो कि थोड़े से यूनिक हैं एंड वो बेसिक साइंस के कॉन्सेप्ट से सॉल्व हो जाते हैं. लेट अस सी द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन. इट वाज इन द सेट डी 93. विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज सिंथेसाइज्ड इन द ह्यूमन बॉडी दैट डायलेट्स द ब्लड वेसल्स एंड इंक्रीजेस द ब्लड फ्लो. ठीक है, ब्लड वेसल डायलेट करने का मतलब है ब्लड वेसल्स का साइज बढ़ाना, उनको थोड़ा सा रिलैक्स करके उसका फ्लो उसका साइज बढ़ाना ताकि ब्लड आराम से फ्लो कर सके. एंड जब ब्लड वेसल डायलेट हो जाएंगे तो ब्लड फ्लो अपने आप बढ़ जाएगा. तो इसका आंसर है नाइट्रिक ऑक्साइड. इसका लॉजिक मैं बताता हूँ एंड वी विल ऑल्सो डिस्कस. इफ़ यू डोंट नो द लॉजिक देन हाउ कैन यू अटेम्प्ट दिस क्वेश्चन. तो सबसे पहली बात तो इन द लास्ट ईयर देर हैज़ बीन लॉट ऑफ रिसर्च ऑन एंटीऑक्सीडेंट्स. ठीक है, हमारी बॉडी में जो हमारी बॉडी के अंदर जो डैमेज होती है फ्री रेडिकल से, वो कैसे कम हो सकती है. एंड ये एंटीऑक्सीडेंट्स एंड फ्री रेडिकल्स के ऊपर यूपीएससी ऑलरेडी क्वेश्चन पूछ चुका है इन द प्रीवियस प्रीलिम्स एग्जामिनेशन. अगर आप देखोगे तो आपको मिल जाएंगे. ठीक है, अब ये जो नाइट्रिक ऑक्साइड है इसका कॉन्सेप्ट क्या है कि अगर हम लोग ऐसे फूड्स खाते हैं जैसे कि बीट रूट हो गया, स्पिनिच हो गया, ठीक है, हमारे नट्स हो गए एक्सेट्रा, तो इनमें स्पेशली अगर हम बात करें बीट रूट्स के ऊपर तो इट हैज़ लॉट हाई अमाउंट्स ऑफ नाइट्रेट्स. ठीक है, डाइटरी नाइट्रेट्स इसके अंदर होते हैं, फाइबर वगैरह भी होता है और आयरन भी होता है, बट नाइट्रेट्स इज वन ऑफ द मेन कंपाउंड्स. एंड हमारी बॉडी में जब ये नाइट्रेट जाते हैं तो ये एंजाइम के थ्रू, एक एंजाइम होता है नाइट्रिक ऑक्साइड सिंथेसिस, ठीक है, उसके थ्रू ये नाइट्रिक ऑक्साइड में कन्वर्ट हो जाते हैं. एंड जो नाइट्रिक ऑक्साइड है ये हमारी बॉडी में कई सारे पॉजिटिव्स करता है. एक तो हमारा ब्लड वेसल को डायलेट करता है, इट डायलेट्स ब्लड वेसल्स. ब्लड वेसल्स को डायलेट करता है, प्लस हमारा जो प्लेटलेट काउंट है उसको भी कम करता है, तो इसकी वजह से क्लॉटिंग कम होती है ना, लेस क्लॉटिंग, तो हमारे ब्लड के अंदर क्लॉट्स बनने की पॉसिबिलिटी कम हो जाती है। प्लस इसका एक और चीज़ देखा गया है कि नाइट्रिक ऑक्साइड इट रिड्यूसेस द ऑक्सीडेशन ऑफ लिपोप्रोटीन्स। हमने क्लास में पढ़ा था लिपोप्रोटीन्स कैन बी आइदर एचडीएल और एलडीएल, तो बेसिकली कोलेस्ट्रॉल से रिलेटेड है ये। जब इनका ऑक्सीडेशन होता है, मतलब व्हेन दे रिएक्ट विद ऑक्सीजन, देन सम फ्री रेडिकल्स आर प्रोड्यूस्ड एंड दीज फ्री रेडिकल्स कैन कॉज डैमेज टू द ब्लड वेसल्स, इट कैन कॉज डैमेज टू द हार्ट्स, तो हार्ट की सेल्स में डैमेज करके उनको खराब कर सकते हैं। तो अगर हम ये नाइट्रिक ऑक्साइड बॉडी में होता है तो ये इसका ऑक्सीडेशन कम होता है, तो इसकी वजह से फ्री रेडिकल्स कम बनते हैं और उसकी वजह से जो हमारी बॉडी में जो डैमेज है वो कम होता है। तो ओवरऑल जो बीटरूट, स्पिनच, नट्स वगैरह है, इनका काफ़ी सारे पॉजिटिव हेल्थ बेनिफिट्स देखने को मिले हैं। दिस वाज इन द रीसेंट स्टडी एंड उसके बेसिस पे ये क्वेश्चन आया हुआ है। एग्जैक्टली आर्टिकल से, न्यूज़पेपर आर्टिकल, इंडियन एक्सप्रेस में एक आर्टिकल आया था, उसके एग्जैक्टली वहीं से ये क्वेश्चन लिया गया है। ठीक है, अब हम आते हैं दूसरे तरीके पे। अगर आपको ये नहीं पता है कि ये सब आर्टिकल आपको बाय चांस यू हैव मिस दिस आर्टिकल, तो आप कैसे गेस कर सकते हो? तो इन द स्कूल यू मस्ट हैव रेड समथिंग अबाउट नाइट्रस ऑक्साइड। इसको लाफिंग गैस के फॉर्म में हम लोग जानते हैं, एंड हम ये जानते हैं कि ये ज़्यादा अमाउंट्स में हमारी बॉडी के लिए हार्मफुल हो सकता है, तो इसलिए ये हमारा ब्लड वेसल्स को डायलेट करना और ब्लड इंक्रीज करने का काम नहीं करेगा, तो इसको एलिमिनेट कर सकते हो। नाइट्रोजन डाइऑक्साइड हम जानते हैं जब फॉसिल फ्यूल्स बर्न होते हैं तो कुछ पोल्यूशंस निकलता है, तो वन ऑफ द पोल्यूशंस आर सल्फर डाइऑक्साइड एंड नाइट्रोजन डाइऑक्साइड, एंड दीज कैन कन्वर्ट इनटू एसिड रेन इन द एटमॉस्फेयर। तो ये हमारी बॉडी में पोल्यूटेंट्स की तरह काम करते हैं, और ये अगर हम इनहेल करते हैं तो हमारे लंग्स वगैरह में इरिटेशन शुरू हो जाती है, खांसी शुरू हो जाती है, तो ये भी नहीं हो सकता। ठीक है, और नाइट्रोजन पेंटाऑक्साइड मतलब 5 ऑक्सीजन, नाइट्रोजन बाइंडिंग विद 5 ऑक्सीजन, ये हमने आज तक शायद स्कूल्स वगैरह में देखा नहीं है, बुक्स में देखा नहीं है, बट हमने एक और केमिकल होता है जिसको बोलते हैं डाई नाइट्रोजन पेंटाऑक्साइड, उसमें 2 नाइट्रोजन ऑक्सीजन से जुड़ते हैं। ठीक है, तो बट नाइट्रोजन पेंटाऑक्साइड हम इमेजिन नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि हमने देखा नहीं है, तो इसको भी एलिमिनेट कर सकते हैं हम लोग, है ना, जस्ट बाय एजुकेटेड गैस। तो फिर हमारे पास एक ही ऑप्शन बचता है। तो 2 तरीके हैं, अगर आपको पता है, अगर आपको नहीं पता तो भी आप थोड़ा सा एजुकेटेड गैस लेके आगे चल सकते हो। ठीक है, तो 94 क्वेश्चन। अब दिस इज़ अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन एंड इसका जो लिंक है मैं बताता हूँ। ये पूछता है कि रेडार्स कौन कौन सी एक्टिविटीज़ में हम यूज़ कर सकते हैं। ठीक है, तो सबसे सिंपल हमने क्लास में पढ़ा था डॉपलर रेडार। डॉपलर रेडार काम कैसे करता है, उसका जो कॉन्सेप्ट है वो बहुत ही सिंपल है। कॉन्सेप्ट इज़ वेरी सिंपल। एक रेडार होता है, ये कुछ वेव्स भेजता है, इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक वेव्स, एंड दीज वेव्स बाउंस ऑफ फ्रॉम अ ऑब्जेक्ट। ठीक है, तो जैसे मान लीजिए कोई एरोप्लेन है, ठीक है, तो इस एरोप्लेन से ये वेव्स बाउंस होके वापस आती है। तो बाय कैलकुलेटिंग द टाइम टेकन बाय द वेव to go and come back, this radar can calculate the distance of the aeroplane, and by calculating the difference in the frequency of the original and the returning wave, it can calculate the speed and direction of the aircraft. ठीक है, तो उसको डॉपलर रेडार बोलते हैं। ठीक है, हमने ये क्लास में भी डिस्कस किया था। अब कॉन्सेप्ट ये है कि डॉपलर रेडार एक बेसिकली इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक वेव्स भेजता है एंड उसको जो रिबाउंड वेव्स है उसको पकड़ता है एंड स्टडी करता है, एंड क्योंकि ओरिजिनल और रिबाउंड वेव्स में फ्रीक्वेंसी डिफरेंस होता है बिकॉज ऑफ द मोशन ऑफ द ऑब्जेक्ट, तो इसकी स्पीड और डायरेक्शन हम गैस कर सकते हैं। तो अगर हम स्पीड और डायरेक्शन गैस कर सकते हैं तो हम लोग स्पीड और डायरेक्शन किसी भी चीज़ की गैस कर सकते हैं। हम लोग स्पीड और डायरेक्शन क्लाउड्स की भी गैस कर सकते हैं, जैसे कि अगर हमारे पास यहाँ पे रेडार है, ठीक है, तो उस पर यहाँ पे क्लाउड्स में हम लोग वेव्स डालेंगे एंड दे विल रिटर्न, तो क्लाउड्स की स्पीड एंड डायरेक्शन हम गैस कर सकते हैं, तो उससे हम प्रेसिपिटेशन गैस कर सकते हैं, एंड हम बर्ड्स की भी स्पीड एंड डायरेक्शन गैस कर सकते हैं। तो व्हेन बर्ड्स आर फ्लाइंग इन द एटमॉस्फेयर तो काफ़ी सारी रेडियो वेव्स उनको हिट करके वापस आती है, एंड कलेक्टिंग दिस डेटा वी कैन ट्रैक द माइग्रेशन पैटर्न ऑफ द बर्ड्स ऑन अ लार्ज स्केल, बहुत पूरे ऑल ओवर इंडिया में हम लोग ट्रैक कर सकते हैं। तो ये दोनों तो स्टेटमेंट सही है। अब जो तीसरा है कि नारकोटिक्स ऑन द पैसेंजर्स, अब ये थोड़ा सा कंट्रोवर्शियल है, मैं पहले ही बता देता हूँ, इसके 2 लॉजिक हैं, बट इसका जो मेरे को लग रहा है कि ये आया कहाँ से क्वेश्चन, दिसंबर 2023 में पार्लियामेंट में सिक्योरिटी ब्रीच हुआ था व्हेन पीपल एंटर्ड द पार्लियामेंट एंड दे स्टार्टेड स्प्रेइंग वो स्मोक गैस, तो वो आपको पता होगा। उसके बाद बहुत न्यूज़ चली थी कि वी हैव टू इंक्रीज द सिक्योरिटी ऑफ द पार्लियामेंट। तो सिंपल मेटल डिटेक्टर से काम नहीं चल रहा था। मेटल डिटेक्टर्स एयरपोर्ट्स पे जो होते हैं, जो पार्लियामेंट में थे, वो सिर्फ मेटल ऑब्जेक्ट डिटेक्ट करते हैं, बट जो स्प्रे कैन थी वो मेटल की नहीं थी, तो दे वर नॉट एबल टू डिटेक्ट इट। तो देन देर क्या हुआ कि ये बात आई कि अब हमें फुल बॉडी स्कैनर्स लगाने पड़ेंगे, फुल बॉडी स्कैनर्स। तो फुल बॉडी स्कैनर्स क्या करते हैं, बेसिकली वो भी यही काम करते हैं, ठीक है। जैसे कि ये मान लो सपोज दिस इज अ फुल बॉडी स्कैनर, इसके अंदर कोई आदमी खड़ा है, तो यहाँ से कुछ वेव्स आएंगी एंड इस आदमी से टकरा कर वापस रिफ्लेक्ट हो जाएंगी, एंड बाय कैलकुलेटिंग द ओरिजिनल एंड द रिफ्लेक्टेड वेव, इस आदमी की पॉकेट्स में, इस आदमी के बॉडी के ऊपर अगर कोई ऑब्जेक्ट्स छुपे हुए हैं, जैसे अगर मान लो इसने शूज़ में कुछ छुपा रखा है, तो वो आपको वेव्स के थ्रू पता लग जाएगा। तो यहाँ पे हम लोग दूसरी तरह की वेव यूज़ करते हैं, रेडियो वेव्स नहीं, हम लोग मिलीमीटर वेव्स यूज़ करते हैं टू फाइंड द ऑब्जेक्ट्स विच आर हिडन इन द पर्सन, ठीक है। अब बॉडी के ऊपर या बॉडी के जस्ट अंदर अगर कोई कैविटी वगैरह में ऑब्जेक्ट छुपा रखा है तो इससे पता चल जाता है, तो इनको फुल बॉडी स्कैनर्स बोलते हैं। इसमें भी इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक वेव यूज़ करते हैं, बट इट इज़ रेडार से थोड़ी सी डिफरेंट, रेडियो वेव से थोड़ी डिफरेंट, मिलीमीटर वेव यूज़ करते हैं, ठीक है, क्योंकि ऑब्जेक्ट साइज छोटा होता है। तो बेसिकली सेम कॉन्सेप्ट है जो रेडार का है, सेम कॉन्सेप्ट इसका भी है। तो बट ये डिटेक्ट करता है ऑब्जेक्ट विच आर हिडन ऑन द पर्सन। तो अगर जैसे एयरपोर्ट्स में हमने फुल बॉडी स्कैनर लगा दिया है, तो अगर किसी ने कपड़ों के नीचे या फिर अपनी जेब में या फिर अपनी बॉडी की कैविटी के अंदर कुछ छुपा रखा है, कोई ड्रग्स वगैरह, तो सिक्योरिटी एजेंसीज को पता चल जाएगा, दे कैन सी इट इन द रेडार, ठीक है, एंड देन दे कैन फिजिकली चेक दैट पर्सन एंड उनको वो नारकोटिक्स मिल जाएगा। तो इसका थोड़ा सा इनडायरेक्ट है, थोड़ा सा इनडायरेक्ट है। इट कैन हेल्प द सिक्योरिटी एजेंसीज टू फाइंड आउट एनी हिडन ऑब्जेक्ट ऑन द पर्सन और इनसाइड देयर बॉडी, एंड देन द सिक्योरिटी एजेंसी हैज टू चेक इट, ठीक है। तो अगर इस लॉजिक से जाएं कि क्वेश्चन में क्या पूछा हुआ है, हाउ मेनी ऑफ द अबव एक्टिविटीज कैन, क्या हम रेडार को यूज कर सकते हैं, कैन, ये पॉसिबिलिटी की बात कर रहा है। तो अगर हम रेडार की टेक्नोलॉजी में मिलीमीटर वेव्स को यूज करेंगे तो बेसिकली हम लोग ये चीज कर सकते हैं। तो अगर हम कैन पे जाते हैं तो सारे ही ऑप्शन ठीक हो जाएंगे, ऑल थ्री, ठीक है। अदरवाइज अगर आप प्योर टेक्निकल उस पर जाओगे तो रेडार की टेक्नोलॉजी लॉन्ग रेडियो वेव्स पे काम करती है, एंड जो ये फुल बॉडी स्कैनर्स है उसकी टेक्नोलॉजी मिलीमीटर वेव्स पे काम करती है। टेक्नोलॉजी में थोड़ा सा डिफरेंस है, बट थ्योरेटिकली दे वर्क ऑन द सेम कॉन्सेप्ट, ठीक है। तो इसलिए मेरे हिसाब से ये 3 ऑप्शन पे जाना चाहिए हमको, ठीक है। अब हम चलते हैं हमारे 99 क्वेश्चन पे, मेम्ब्रेन बायोरिएक्टर्स। ये जो टॉपिक है ये यूपीएससी बार बार पूछ रहा है, बार बार। अगर आप 2023 का पेपर देखोगे तो यू विल फाइंड अ क्वेश्चन ऑन द बायोफिल्टर्स यूज्ड इन एक्वेरियम, ठीक है। तो उसमें भी सेम कॉन्सेप्ट था कि वी विल यूज माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स टू डिग्रेड द ऑर्गेनिक वेस्ट इन द एक्वेरियम सो दैट वी कैन प्यूरिफाई द एक्वेरियम, ठीक है। तो उसमें अमोनिया की बात की जा रही थी कि अमोनिया को हम कैसे डिग्रेड करेंगे। तो वहाँ पे हम लोग नाइट्रीफाइंग बैक्टीरिया यूज़ करते हैं, जो आपने नाइट्रोजन साइकिल पढ़ी होगी, तो उसमें नाइट्रीफाइंग बैक्टीरिया यूज़ करते हैं एक्वेरियम में, बायोफिल्टर्स में। मेम्ब्रेन बायोरिएक्टर्स क्या होता है, वो भी सेम कॉन्सेप्ट है। जो हमारा वेस्ट वाटर होता है, ठीक है, उसमें बहुत सारा ऑर्गेनिक वेस्ट होता है। अगर हम उसको उसमें कुछ बैक्टीरिया और फंगस वगैरह डाल के उस ऑर्गेनिक वेस्ट को डिग्रेड करवा दें तो वो होगा वो हमारा सिंपल होता है बायोरिएक्टर, वो सिंपल होता है बायोरिएक्टर। उसमें हम बायोलॉजिकल एजेंट यूज करके ऑर्गेनिक वेस्ट को डिग्रेड कर रहे हैं। बट मेम्ब्रेन बायोरिएक्टर्स क्या है कि इसमें मेम्ब्रेन टेक्नोलॉजी और बायोरिएक्टर को मिला दिया गया है। तो बेसिकली हमने क्लास में पढ़ा था आरओ, रिवर्स ऑस्मोसिस, तो उसमें हमने पढ़ा था कि एक सेमी परमेबल मेम्ब्रेन होता है, इसके इस साइड अगर हम डर्टी वाटर रखेंगे, डर्टी वाटर, और अगर हम इसको बहुत हाई प्रेशर से पुश करेंगे, यहाँ पे डर्टी वाटर रखेंगे तो यहाँ से हमको क्लीन वाटर मिल जाएगा। जो आपके घर के आरओ में जो काम करता है वैसा ही कॉन्सेप्ट है। तो सेम कॉन्सेप्ट हमने क्लास में भी पढ़ा था। बट डर्टी वाटर को एक साइड रखो, बीच में मेम्ब्रेन लगाओ, सेमी परमेबल मेम्ब्रेन, विच ब्लॉक्स ऑल द सॉल्ट, विच ब्लॉक्स ऑल द माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स, जो भी डिजॉल्व पार्टिकल्स हैं उसको ब्लॉक कर देगा। तो सिर्फ क्लीन वाटर जो है वो इस साइड जाएगा। तो अगर हम ऐसा सेमी परमेबल मेम्ब्रेन लगाते हैं और इस डर्टी वाटर में पहले हम माइक्रोब्स डाल देते हैं, तो वो माइक्रोब्स ऑर्गेनिक वेस्ट को डिग्रेड करेंगे और फिर ये डर्टी जो भी उसमें सॉलिड पार्टिकल्स बच जाएंगे उसको हम मेम्ब्रेन के थ्रू पुश करेंगे। मेम्ब्रेन विल स्टॉप द सॉलिड पार्टिकल्स एंड क्लीन वाटर विल गो टू द अदर साइड। तो बेसिकली इट्स अ वेस्ट वाटर ट्रीटमेंट टेक्नोलॉजी जिसमें हम सेमी परमेबल मेम्ब्रेन और बायोलॉजिकल माइक्रोब्स वगैरह को यूज़ करके वाटर के ऑर्गेनिक वेस्ट को हटाते हैं और उसके जो सॉलिड वेस्ट, जो सॉलिड डिजॉल्व पार्टिकल्स हैं, उसको हटाते हैं। तो ये वेस्ट वाटर ट्रीटमेंट टेक्नोलॉजी है। ये न्यूज़ में क्यों आया था? क्योंकि डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ बायोटेक्नोलॉजी ने डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ बायोटेक्नोलॉजी डेवलप्ड अ सिरेमिक बेस्ड मेम्ब्रेन बायोरिएक्टर फॉर ट्रीटिंग द वेस्ट ऑफ द टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री। जो टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री का जो वेस्ट है उसको साफ करने के लिए। तो ये है। और अगेन ये सेम चीज बार बार आ रही है। बेसिकली यूपीएससी इज ट्राइंग टू आस्क, जो उसका थीम है वो है यूज ऑफ माइक्रोब्स इन वेस्ट ट्रीटमेंट। तो ये थीम इंपॉर्टेंट है। बार बार वो पिछली बार बायोफिल्टर भी यही थीम का था और ये वाला भी मेम्ब्रेन बायोरिएक्टर्स भी इसी थीम का है। प्लस मेंस में भी एक क्वेश्चन पूछा गया था कि एवरी ईयर लॉट ऑफ सेलुलोज फॉल्स ऑन द अर्थ, हाउ इज दिस सेलुलोज कन्वर्टेड टू कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड एंड वाटर। तो उसमें भी माइक्रोब्स का रोल है। तो रोल ऑफ माइक्रोब्स इन डिसइंटीग्रेटिंग द वेस्ट, ये एक इंपॉर्टेंट थीम है। इस पर बार बार क्वेश्चन आ रहा है। इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर हम वेस्ट वाटर ट्रीटमेंट के लिए लगा सकते हैं। ठीक है, थैंक यू एवरीवन। नाउ वी विल मूव टू द नेक्स्ट सेक्शन।
Just a minute. Yeah. Need to. You take up these questions because they're very straight. The question is quite simple. The only thing that one should not take it casual. जैसे देखो ये इसमें सिर्फ 2 मैच करेक्ट हैं, क्योंकि भारतीय जनसंघ दैट इज श्यामा प्रसाद मुखर्जी एंड कांग्रेस फॉर डेमोक्रेसी ये जगजीवन राम का है। बाकी जो इन्होंने रॉन्ग मैच किया हुआ है जिसमें सोशलिस्ट पार्टी दैट इज बेसिकली आचार्य नरेंद्र देव and the Swatantra party that is by C. Rajagopalachari. So, the party and the founder are correct, but the real party and the founder are correct only in 2 cases. As I repeat, Bharatiya Janasangh, Shyama Prasad Mukherjee and Congress for Democracy, Jagjeevan Ram. So, only 2 matches are correct in this question. Now, in this format you see only this one, because this is Brigadier Air Commodore, but Commander is not the right match. Likewise, Major General and thereafter Air Vice Master, this is Air Vice Master and Vice Admiral, both these are different rank, higher rank. Major General, so Major General, this is also incorrect, this is also incorrect. The only correct answer is Major, that is of course equivalent to rank of Squadron Leader and Lieutenant Commander. Here also this answer, had it been colonel, full colonel, then the answer would have been correct. Otherwise, it is lieutenant colonel. So, lieutenant colonel does not match with group captain and captain. So, out of all these, only three, this 4th one is correct, D is correct. That's 2, because the questions were quite simple, straightforward. But yes, I would like to add further that this year, get ready for a bit tough main examination, because a common pattern in civil service examination based on my experience, when prelims is easier, the mains is tougher. When prelims is tougher, mains is easier comparatively. Thank you.
सो हेलो एवरीवन. सो आई थिंक यानी आज इस साल ऐसा हुआ कि बड़े ही पॉजिटिव वाइब्स हैं चारों तरफ. जीएस पेपर, सीसैट पेपर दोनों बड़ा ही इजी रहा है कंपैरेटिवली. सो आई वुड बी डिस्कसिंग जस्ट सिंगल क्वेश्चन, क्योंकि अभी सीसैट में मिलेंगे आप लोगों के साथ, पूरा पेपर डिस्कस करना है. तो इन सीसैट दिस क्वेश्चन ऑफ गवर्नेंस ऑलरेडी कवर्ड. वन मोर क्वेश्चन. हाँ, so all of you are taking questions from set D, question number 48. With reference to the Digital India Land Records Modernization Program, consider the following statements. First है, to implement the scheme, the central government provides 100% funding. Second, under the scheme, cadastral maps are digitized. Third है, an initiative has been undertaken to translate the records right from local language to any of the languages recognized by the Constitution of India. Now all of you here remember, just in this case first, second and third, देखो options आप देखो, so here first, second and third all three statements are correct, because right from 2016 में गवर्नमेंट ने स्टार्ट किया था, and then in 2016 गवर्नमेंट started this scheme with your 100% funding. ये सेंटर द्वारा ये फंड किया जा रहा है. And yes, schemes में cadastral maps are digitized, and more than 2/3, in fact more than 2/3 of the maps now already digitized हो चुके हैं. Okay, and then कैडेस्ट्रल मैप्स है. एंड थर्ड जो है आपका यस, जितने भी आपको लैंड रिकॉर्ड्स इन सब में वन ऑफ द मेजर प्रॉब्लम, सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम क्या रही है? प्रॉब्लम हैज बीन दी लैंग्वेज. ओके, यूज ऑफ लैंग्वेज. देयरफॉर अंडर दिस जितने भी आपको हैं 22 लैंग्वेजेस रिकॉग्नाइज्ड, इन ऑल दोज लैंग्वेजेस आपको ट्रांसलेट किया जा रहा है. सो नाउ ट्रांसलेटिंग द रिकॉर्ड्स इन ऑल द 22 लैंग्वेजेस. सो यस, ऑल ऑफ यू फर्स्ट, सेकंड एंड थर्ड ऑल द 3 स्टेटमेंट्स आर करेक्ट. सो ऑल ऑफ यू ऑल दी वेरी बेस्ट. एकदम पॉजिटिव होकर मेंस की तैयारी करो, एंड मिलते हैं हम सीसैट डिस्कशन में. बाय, टेक केयर.
Hello everyone. So we are discussing 2024 prelims questions, and in this series, okay, now in front of you I am bringing those questions which have been coming from the history section. So the very first question from the modern history was, who was the provisional president of the Constituent Assembly before Dr. Rajendra Prasad took over? So this year the questions are a bit simple and quite straightforward, and this is talking about Constituent Assembly, which itself was recommended by or had come up as per the cabinet mission. And the Constituent Assembly, regarding this cabinet mission, it was constituted on, sorry, just a second, on 9th December 1946. So for 2 days or 3 days, you can see 9th, 10th and 11th, 9th and 10th, Sachidanand Sinha was the provisional president. On 11th, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was chosen as the permanent president. So for this question, question number 11, which is in front of your screen, answer is D. Then
The next question is, with reference to the Government of India Act 1935, consider the following statements. Number 1, it provided for the establishment of an All India Federation based on the union of the British Indian provinces and princely states. True. The first statement is true. Secondly, defence and foreign affairs were kept under the control of the federal legislature. This statement is also quite easy. It is not true, because defence and foreign affairs had always been controlled by the Viceroy, not by the federal legislature. So, statement 2 is wrong and statement 1 is correct. So, answer will be A for question number 12. The next is, and I have been discussing in the class also, here you can see the very first statement, it provided for an All India Federation comprising British provinces and princely states as units. Okay, that was just a proof to show you. The next question is from medieval India, and this is about a very factual question, that which among the following rulers of the medieval India had given the Portuguese the permission to build a fort at Bhatkal? Answer is Krishnadeva Rai. A. Krishnadeva Rai was the most famous ruler of the peninsular India during the medieval time from the Vijayanagar kingdom, and its ruling period was 1509 to 29, and he had also taken titles like Andhra Bhoj or Abhinav Bhoj, and he was promoter of naval forces also, so and trade also. So, therefore, he had given the permission to the Portuguese to build a fort at Bhatkal. Our next question is, with reference to revenue collection by Cornwallis, statements consider the following. Number 1, under the Raiyatwari settlement of revenue collection, the peasants were exempted from revenue payment in case of bad harvest or natural calamities. See, the traditional departure as far as British were concerned, British did not give us exemption in case of bad harvest. If there would have been any kind of aberration, that is just by coincidence, but it was not a rule or a theory that they were giving us any kind of remission of land revenue or exemption from payment of land revenue. So, this statement is wrong. The peasants were not exempted. In the second statement, under the permanent settlement in Bengal, if the Jamidar had failed to pay his revenues to the state on or before the fixed date, he would be removed from his Zamidari. I do not know how UPSC is going to treat this particular question or its answer, but here if we are taking it in a simple language, the statement 2 is correct, because this is what the perfect example of sunset law. If the Jamidar failed to pay the revenue, then his land was taken by the company, and company then auctioned the land. And here if it is written on or before the fixed date, means the Zamidar had the option to pay before the fixed date also, but by that specified date it has to be paid. That is the reason why it is called as sunset law. So, if the Jamidar defaulted and did not pay the revenue, then in that case company will take the land of the Zamidar and will auction it, and this has also been taught in the classes. So, that is just a simple proof to show you. These are some of the questions of history. I hope you have done well, and if you have attended the classes, and for the rest of the students who are seeing it on online mode, it will be a good guiding tool to help you in the coming years. Thank you, class.
Hello everyone. So I'm Rahul Sengar and I'm going to discuss the ancient history and art and culture question. So history से जैसे आपको पता भी होगा कि there were 12 questions. Out of 12 questions, 7 questions were from the ancient history and art and culture. Out of even 7 questions, 2 questions were straightforward, and that cannot be even termed as the current inspired static. It was completely current affairs. ठीक है? And the question was more kind of a simple kind of a question in comparison to the last year. Out of 7 questions, 4 to 5 questions were doable, and there was one question only that was a bit difficult, or you can say out of the box. Otherwise 6 questions were from the notes and all those things, directly or indirectly. So let's start the discussion. I'm not going to waste too much of the time. Let's start the discussion, and I'm just going to give you the answers mainly so that you can match it from your answer for your you can say the question paper and all those things. इसके अलावा डिस्कशन इस पे हम कभी और बाद में डिटेल में करेंगे, ठीक है. तो लेट्स से द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन. तो फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन था विच वन ऑफ द फॉलोइंग, ये आपका डी सेट का है, तो विच वन ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज द वर्क एट्रीब्यूटेड टू द प्ले राइट भाषा. तो अगर आप नोट्स वगैरह में देखोगे लिखा होगा देयर आर द 13 प्लेज ऑफ द भाषा. द मोस्ट फेमस प्ले वाज द स्वप्न वासव दत्ता, बट दैट इज नॉट आस्क्ड, एंड द क्वेश्चन दैट वाज आस्क्ड इज द बेसिकली आंसर इज द मध्यम व्यावयोगा, ठीक है. तो मध्यम व्यावयोगा जो है बेसिकली दिस इज द आंसर इन दिस. वैसे भी जो महाभाष्य है दैट वाज Patanjali, that was written by the Patanjali during the time period of Pushyamitra Shunga, and this was the commentary on the Panini Ashtadhyayi that we have already discussed in the basically you can say the classes. Then Kavya Alankara अगर आप देखेंगे, so this is again you can say related to the Bhama करके एक 7th century poet थे, उनसे आपका related है. Then the नाट्य शास्त्रा, ये हमने कई बार classes में भी पढ़ा है, and this is the Bharat Muni. Bharat Muni. So the only option that is remaining, this is Bhama. Mahabhashya is Patanjali. So the only option that will remaining is the Madhyam Yoga. ठीक है. So there were the 13 places. Bhas is the one of the famous playwright. Then the next question is, this is the you can say, जैसे यहाँ पे ये सब चीज़ें लिखी हुई हैं, नोट्स के आपका पार्ट है. The particular Patanjali wrote the Mahabhashya. Then Sangbhuti, now this is the some out of the box question. An Indian Buddhist monk who traveled to China at the end of the 4th century AD was the author of the commentary on. तो इसका जो आपका आंसर है that is सर्वस्तिवाद विनय. ये हमने ना कभी क्लास में डिस्कस किया है, तो ये जनरली आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स क्वेश्चन आया है, बट इसको अगर हम एलिमिनेट करेंगे तो बाकी 3 डिस्कस हैं क्लास में. ललित विस्तारा वॉज अ महायाना टेक्स्ट. जनरल द वन राइटर इज नॉट नोन. प्रज्ञा परमिता सूत्रा ये महायाना से रिलेटेड था, और दिस इज जनरली यू कैन से द नागार्जुन, compiled by the Nagarjuna. Then Vishuddhimagga अगर आप देखोगे this is again in your notes, and this is Buddha Ghosha, compiled by the Buddha Ghosha. So the answer is the Sarvastivadhan Vinaya. ललित विस्तारा का जो आपका टेक्स्ट है that talks about the Buddhist या the particular Buddha's biography. Okay, so answer will be C. Then consider the following properties included in the वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज लिस्ट रिलीज बाय यूनेस्को, ठीक है. बट जो मेन कैच है वो आपका नीचे है क्वेश्चन में, बिकॉज इसमें क्या पूछा हुआ है केवल 2023 वाले. तो ये जो रानी की वाव है ये पहले से एडेड है. दिस महाबोधि टेम्पल दिस इज ऑल्सो एडेड बिफोर, एंड दिस शांति निकेतन एंड द होयसला. तो शांति निकेतन वॉज द 41st एंड द पर्टिकुलर होयसलाज वर द 42nd. सो द आंसर विल बी द ओनली in this case. Okay, ये स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड क्वेश्चन था आपका, करंट अफेयर से आप बोल सकते हो. देन विद रेफरेंस टू द एंशिएंट इंडिया, गौतम बुद्धा वाज जनरली नोन बाय द विच वन ऑफ द फॉलोइंग एपिथेट. तो अगर आप ये नोट्स में भी देखोगे तो यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है गौतम बुद्धा में सिद्धार्थ, शाक्यमुनि एंड तथागत. तो शाक्यमुनि इसलिए बिकॉज ही वॉज फ्रॉम द शाक्य क्लैन. ओके. देन नया पुत्ता अगर आप देखोगे दिस इज द नेम ऑफ महावीरा, बिकॉज वी हैव ऑल्सो डिस्कस द सप्तभंगी नया, और द नया इज अ टाइप ऑफ द जजमेंट. सो दिस नया कॉन्सेप्ट इज यूज इन द जैनिज्म. तो नया पुत्ता इज द बेसिकली महावीर. सो शाक्यमुनि इज द नेम ऑफ गौतम बुद्ध. तथागत इज ऑल्सो द नेम ऑफ द बुद्ध. तो आंसर विल बी 2 and 3. देन नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज in which of the above rows is given information correctly matched. Now I have already told you in the classes that this year there might be the two areas from where the question might be there, like the prehistoric ages, as they were already focusing on the CAPF and the CDS, and then the Vedic age. और दोनों पे ही इस बार एक एक क्वेश्चन है. चंद्रकेतुगढ़ अगर आप देखोगे दिस वाज आल्सो आस्क्ड इन 2021 का अगर आप फिल्म चेक करोगे तो वहां पे भी चंद्रकेतुगढ़ पूछा था. एंड चंद्रकेतुगढ़ इज द बेसिकली इन वेस्ट बंगाल. ये वेस्ट बंगाल में है, तो दिस इज इनकरेक्ट. As this is incorrect, so 2 options are directly eliminated. Okay, in that case the third is, you can say the particular third is automatically true, थर्ड इज करेक्ट. ओके, इसको चेक करने की जरूरत नहीं, बाकी ये सही लिखा हुआ है कि केरला भी है और ये मेगालिथिक साइट है. इनाम गांव इज ऑल्सो मेंशन इन द नोट्स इन द चैल्कोलिथिक पीरियड एंड इनाम गांव इज इन महाराष्ट्र. इनाम गांव, सोन गांव, ये जितने भी महाराष्ट्र की साइट्स थी दे वर फेमस इन द बेसिकली यू कैन से द महाराष्ट्र जोन, यानी कि बेसिकली जॉर्वे कल्चर के लिए, एंड जॉर्वे बिलोंग्स टू द चैल्कोलिथिक पीरियड. तो अगर आप इसका आंसर देखेंगे दैट विल बी, आंसर विल बी टू महाराष्ट्र चैल्कोलिथिक, दिस इज करेक्ट. मनगाडू केरला मेगालिथिक, दिस इज ऑल्सो करेक्ट. एंड जब ये है सालिहुंदम आंध्र प्रदेश, तो ये यहां तक तो करेक्ट है, बट दिस इज नॉट द रॉक कट केव श्राइन, इट इज अ बुद्धिस्ट स्तूपा. ठीक क्लियर है, इट इज साइट ऑफ द बुद्धिस्ट स्तूपा. तो ये भी क्या हो गया आपका इनकरेक्ट. सो आंसर विल बी 2 and 3. ये आपका नोट्स से क्वेश्चन है. यहाँ पे अगर आप देखोगे नोट्स में इनाम गांव यहाँ पे मेंशन है एंड द साइट इज ऑल्सो मेंशन, दैट इज महाराष्ट्र. ओके, यहाँ पे आपकी डेड बॉडीज जो हैं वो आपकी चिल्ड्रन की भी मिली हैं, इवन फ्लोर के अंदर मिली हैं. ठीक है, देन नेक्स्ट इसी में देखोगे तो यहाँ पे हमने क्वेश्चन क्लास में डिस्कस किया हुआ है चंद्रकेतुगढ़, एंड द ओनली थिंग दैट इज रिटन इज द वेस्ट बंगाल, एंड बाय दिस यू कैन सॉल्व द क्वेश्चन. देन कंसीडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट, देयर आर नो parables in the Upanishad. Now what is parable? तो इसका मतलब होता है story that will be about the ethics and all those things. So automatically Upanishad is talking about the philosophical content. So ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि there might not be the any kind of the ethical stories. It will be there. Okay, and there are the many such stories. Even we have discussed about the Yam Nachiketa, जहाँ पे वो उपनिषद चल कर रहा है, लेकिन उसमें साथ में the ethical information and the particular story kind of information will be there. So there are no parable in the Upanishad. वैसे भी ये extreme statement है, तो this should be eliminated. Then in the classes also we have discussed, and that is quite simple also. Upanishad were composed earlier than the Puran. So this is correct because I have told you in the classes that this is around 600 BC. Okay, and the Puran, though some of the Puran has been also compiled somewhere in the 1st century, 2nd century BC, वहाँ से start होता है, but the majority of the Puran is of the Gupta. हालांकि इसमें कुछ प्री गुप्ता भी हैं और कुछ आपके पोस्ट गुप्ता भी हैं. There are some particular Puran that is also the post Gupta, but in a way you can say that this statement is correct because that is quite earlier. Upanishad is quite earlier, so answer will be 2 only. ठीक है, अगर आप अगर हमारे डिस्कशन में भी देखोगे तो वहाँ पे ये सब इन्फॉर्मेशन वगैरह आप देखोगे तो सब मेंशन है नोट्स में, और क्लासेस में भी ये डिटेल में डिस्कस हुआ है. सो दीज वर द आई थिंक एक क्वेश्चन और है आपका, विच वन ऑफ द फॉलोइंग वाज द लेटेस्ट इंक्लूजन इन द इंटेंजिबल. तो ये भी क्वाइट सिंपल क्वेश्चन था. दिसंबर के आसपास अगर आप देखोगे तो गरबा वाज एडेड, एंड इन द कैप क्लासेस ऑल्सो वी हैव डिस्कस दिस. सो बेसिकली गरबा डांस, एंड दैट इज ऑफ गुजरात का डांस है, और यही आपका इसका आंसर हो गया बिकॉज लेटेस्ट पूछा है. दुर्गा पूजा है, दैट वाज एडेड अराउंड 2021. ठीक है, एंड दिस गरबा डांस इज एडेड इन द 2023. सो दीज वर ऑल द क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम द एंशिएंट हिस्ट्री एंड आर्ट एंड कल्चर. 7 क्वेश्चन थे जिसमें से 4 से 5 आराम से डुएबल थे. ठीक क्लियर है. सो अभी बहुत ज़्यादा परेशान मत होइए, कट ऑफ के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा डिस्कस मत करिए. ठीक क्लियर है, अभी आप आराम करिए और थोड़ा सा चीज़ों को सेटल होने दीजिए, एंड वी विल डिस्कस अबाउट द कट ऑफ ऑल्सो बाई टुमारो. ओके, ऑल द बेस्ट.
Good evening. Let us discuss a few of the questions of Indian polity that have been asked in today's prelims paper. So, first question is, which one of the following statements is correct as per the Constitution of India? And this question is basically related to federalism, that means union state relations, and it is related to lists. So, first is interstate trade and commerce is a state subject under the state list. Now, you see there is one formula. If something is interstate, then it is never in state list, it will be either in the union list or concurrent list, because it is related to more than one state. So, interstate trade and commerce is a state subject. So, it is not a state subject, it is a subject of union list, and therefore, this option is eliminated. Interstate migration, again interstate. So, of course, cannot be state subject, it is not a state subject. So, this option is also eliminated. Interstate quarantine is a union subject under the union list. Now, you see interstate quarantine is a union subject. So, this is correct. Corporation tax is a state subject. So, corporation tax is not a state subject, it is a subject of union list. So, this is also wrong. So, here the answer is C. Interstate quarantine is a union subject under the union list. Now, let us see the next question. Now, this is a very good question and which is going to lead many confusions, but rest assured this is going to be the most authentic answer, and you will find different explanations at different places. So, let us see what is the problem. The Northeastern Council was established by the Northeastern Council Act 1971. The question is on Northeastern Council. Subsequent to the amendment of NEC Act in 2002. So, this act was amended in 2002. The council comprises which of the following members? That means, after this amendment. So, question is after this 2002 amendment. The Northeastern Council comprises of which of these? Now, Northeastern Council is a zonal council. In 1956, states in India were reorganized on the linguistic ground, and then State Reorganization Act 1956 was passed. So, this redrew the political map of India, new states were formed on linguistic ground, and besides that India was divided into 5 zones, and for each zone a zonal council was constituted. So, zones were eastern zone, western zone, northern zone, southern zone and central zone, and councils were eastern zonal council, western zonal council, northern, southern and central zonal councils. Now, under State Reorganization Act 1956, Home Minister. So, let us see what is confusion in this question. Home Minister of India is the ex officio chairman of all these means these 5 zonal councils. Now, Northeastern Council, this is also a zonal council, but this was created separately in 1971 by an act of parliament. Till 2002 amendment, Home Minister used to be the chairman of this also, but after 2002 amendment, Home Minister is no more the ex officio chairperson of this council. Rather, the amended act reads as the President shall nominate the chairman of Northeastern Council. So, it is essentially not the Home Minister. Home Minister may be or may not be, it is the prerogative of the President that the President shall nominate the chairman of Northeastern Council. Now, in the light of this fact, let us see the options. So, first option is, now let us see the question again. Subsequent to the amendment of NEC Act in 2002, the council comprises which of the following members? Governor of the constituent state, it is correct. So, governors of the constituent states, there are 8 states in Northeastern Council. So, governors of those 8 states are the members, that is correct. Chief ministers of the constituent state, this is also correct. So, chief ministers of those 8 states, they are the members of the council. 3 members to be nominated by the President of India, this is also correct. But the Home Minister of India is not the member of, or not essentially the member of this Northeastern Council. Why? Because the chairman is to be nominated by the President, he may be Home Minister or may not be. So, this is wrong. So, answer is 1, 2 and 3. So, here the answer would be A. Now, let us come to the next question. Consider the following statements. This is also a very good, very conceptual question. It is the governor of the state who recognizes and declares any community of that state as a scheduled tribe. What is governor? A community declared as a scheduled tribe in a state need not be so in another state. Now, you see, this question is related to Article 342 of Indian Constitution. So, Article 342 and Article 341, they are very similar in nature. Article 341 deals with scheduled caste status and 342 deals with scheduled tribe status. Since here question is regarding scheduled tribe, so of course it is related to Article 342. So, 342 says that any community or any group shall be designated as a scheduled tribe by the President of India in consultation with the governor of that state. So, it is the President of India who recognizes any community as the scheduled tribe, but here option says governor of the state recognizes. So, this is wrong. Here answer should be the President. There the word should be. Then second, a community declared as a scheduled tribe in a state need not be so in another state. This is correct. That means a particular scheduled caste, and this is true about scheduled caste also, the same thing, that President recognizes it. So, if a community is recognized as a scheduled caste or scheduled tribe community, then this recognition is in relation to a particular state, and it is not for all the states. For example, Minas. So, they are tribe in Rajasthan, but they are not, they have not been recognized tribe in other states like Jharkhand. So, here first is wrong and second is true. So, answer is which of the statements given above is correct? So, of course, B, only 2 or 2 only is the answer. So, these are the answers of few questions, and let us wait for other segment to come. Thank you so much.
A very good evening to all of you. I hope all of you are doing good, and this year you must be pretty happy the way the question have been asked in the examination. Let's go with the answers. I will not take much of your time, and straight away we will be into the answers only. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, which of the following is the largest source of sulfur dioxide emission? If you remember, we have seen the smog, photochemical smog, and there I have covered SO2, and in the SO2 we have seen the largest source of emission is coal based thermal power plants. So if you see power plants using the fossil fuels, so answer should be this. Now, if you see next question, consider the following statement. Statement 1, the atmosphere is heated more by incoming solar radiation than by the terrestrial radiation. You have seen in the climate change classes, it's one of the very easy straightforward question, that the incoming solar radiation passes through the greenhouse gases in particularly, but they act as a opaque medium for the outgoing heat. That outgoing heat is a terrestrial radiation or back radiation, which is a longer wave radiation. Incoming solar radiation is a short wave radiation, and outgoing radiation is a longer wave radiation, which is also called as a terrestrial radiation. And this terrestrial radiation, which is radiated back by the earth, is absorbed by the greenhouse gases there, and one of the big reason for making the surrounding hotter there. So the atmosphere is heated more by incoming solar radiation than by the terrestrial radiation is wrong. So this is wrong. It is more by terrestrial radiation. And number 2 is carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases in the atmosphere are good absorbers of the long wave radiation. Those, even we have written that definition, they act as a transparent medium for the incoming solar radiation, which is a short wave radiation, but they are acting as an opaque medium which they absorb, and part of that is directed back towards the earth. So it means the second statement is correct and the first statement is incorrect. Now let's go to the next question. The organism, cicada, froghopper, pond skater, many a times I have told you in the class, you try and remember such kind of names like grasshoppers, etc., or cicada was in news also right recently. So in that case, if you see what is this, answer is insect. Next is, consider the following statement, many chewing gum found in the market are considered a source of environmental pollution. Yes, and one of the big reason is it is one of the important source of the plastic pollution, which is like polyvinyl acetate is one of the important, this part, a kind of this basis, gum base for the many of those chewing gums. So many chewing gums contain the plastic as a gum base, especially as a polyvinyl acetate, and as well as, so it means statement 1 is correct and statement 2 is a correct explanation of that. So both the statements are correct, and the statement 2 explains the statement 1 because of that only, it is one of the important source of the pollution. Next we go into the consider the following pair, Brazil, Indonesia, Madagascar, Indri, elk, bonobo. If you see the notes, we have studied all of them, but sometimes 1 or 2 names may not be there, like Indri we may not have written in the class, but I told you in the class lemurs. If you can see the, go back to the notes and you see lemurs there, that is a lemurs, and lemurs we have seen are only found in the Madagascar. So this Brazil is wrong. Elk or wapiti we have seen in the current affairs class also. See this elk, wapiti, the Central Asia, the eastern part, and as well as some other areas, but not in the Indonesia. So we do not see this this Indonesia part, equatorial region principally elk, wapiti. So this is also wrong. Bonobo I have covered in the class, bonobo and chimpanzee. If you remember, bonobo and chimpanzee, that is a mainland Africa. This is a mainland Africa, bonobo and as well as a chimpanzee. They are the both the different species of the chimpanzee in general. One is a bonobo and second is a chimpanzee. So bonobo principally in the Central African part. So this Madagascar is also wrong. It means none of this is correctly matched. Answer should be what? How many of the pairs given above are correctly matched? The answer is none of them is correctly matched to other. Whatever maybe you check it out, basically this is also incorrect, this is also incorrect, and this is also incorrect, right? So maybe this option, some I think some messed up is there with respect to those options. Answer is none of them is correctly matched to other. Then we go into the next question, and what is here is, consider the following statement regarding the World Toilet Organization. This is one question which if you have studied, if not, you have practiced many such kind of a question based on this, but maybe it would become difficult this question. It is one of the, this point is easy, it is one of the agencies of the United Nations. No, you must have studied many places, various specialized agencies of United Nations. World Toilet Organization is not there. World Toilet Organization is a not-for-profit organization. So this is the not-for-profit organization, a non-governmental organization, not-for-profit, non-governmental organization, whose main focus is on advocating the sanitation, advocating those activities which help in sustainable development goal number 6, and that includes, right, sanitation, including the prevention of the open defecation, etc. So the World Toilet Summit, World Toilet Day, World Toilet College are the initiatives of this organization, correct? The main focus of it's to grant funds, not, it mainly focuses on, right, advising. So this is a advising, advocating, right, or they mainly focus on the policy domains, right? They help government, they help, right, by making people aware also. So their focus is on the awareness, right? Their focus is on the policy advocacy, etc. So that's grant fund, that is wrong. So number one is it is not an agency of United Nations, and as well as it is also not providing funds per se. So that 1 and 3 must be incorrect. Now then you, right, have this point number 2 is correct. So answer should be the only A. Next is, if you see question, lions do not have a particular breeding season. Yes, that's absolutely right. Lions do not have particular breeding season. They prefer certain season, but they do not have a particular breeding season in particular. Unlike most other big cats, if you have attended the classes, some of you may have seen, we have seen a Panthera group. And among the Panthera groups, among the big cats, we see, right, this 5 species. Among those 5 species, like tiger, like jaguar, like leopard, like lion, they roar. Snow leopard doesn't roar. And then among those, cheetah, like that's a, it purrs and it doesn't roar. So among the big cats, these are the Panthera 4 species, they roar. Snow leopard among the Panthera doesn't roar. Cheetah doesn't roar over there. So this, unlike most other big cats, cheetah do not roar is absolutely right. Lions do not have a particular breeding season is absolutely right. Unlike male lions, male leopards do not proclaim their territory by scent marking. No, most of them, they have this, including the leopards also. This is one of the way how they go for the marking of their territory. So this statement is incorrect. The answer should be 1 and 2 only. Lions do not have a particular breeding season. Yes. Unlike most other big cats, cheetahs do not roar. Yes, the cheetahs do not roar. Right. Next is, which one of the following is correct description of 100 million farmers? That was, right, again in news. It is a platform for accelerating the transition towards food and water system that are net zero, nature positive, and that aims to increase the farmer resilience. Right. So that is an answer. Consider the following statement, right? Okay, that's question we have seen. So here the answer is this: platform for accelerating the transition towards a food and water system. Next is, which one of the following shows a unique relationship an insect that has evolved with it, and that is the only insect that can pollinate this tree. If you remember those mutualistic interactions among them, we have seen the mutualism plant and the pollinator. When we say the plant and the pollinator, so that relationship is asked here. In the plant and the pollinator, that was a fig and as well as a wasp. Fig and the wasp. So this particular wasp species help in the pollination of the fig. So it means the answer would be A, that is 68A. Next is, if we see, consider the following statement: butterfly, fish, frogs, how many of the above have poisonous species among them? Last time when we were having that strategy, right, this one class, and in classes also I told you, like last year they asked a question of mushroom. In some such question, they are one of the easiest of the question. In what way? That we have many species, and among those many species, when there is a generalized statement, most likely the statement may be correct. Yes, it means the some of the butterflies may be poisonous, some of the fishes may be poisonous, and some of the frogs may be poisonous. So how many of the above have poisonous species among them? It's not like all of them, poisonous species among them. So maybe a butterflies also, maybe a fish also, maybe a frogs also. The answer would be all 3. All 3. Now next go to the consider the following. If you remember in the current affairs class also, we have covered the red sanders, and red sanders, it means it is, as of now we only talk about the Andhra Pradesh over there. So it is native to the Andhra Pradesh. In many of the classes, right, when we are talking the endemism, cashew, eggplant, or this papaya, such kind of a discussion may have come up. Otherwise this is the red sander. So cashew nut, right, cashew nut, papaya not native of India. Native means original home, and red sander is native to India, especially the Andhra Pradesh there. So 1, 2 is incorrect and the 3 is correct. So that is a 3. It means answer is only 1 of the 3 is correct. That is only 1 is correct. Next is with reference to perfluoroalkyl and polyfluoroalkyl substances, as it is question came which we have covered along with the Stockholm Convention. You remember in the Stockholm Convention we have seen the PFAs, right? One of the Stockholm Convention we were talking the bioaccumulative substances, persistent bioaccumulative toxic substances. So when we are having those lists, one of the new additions into this was PFAs. If you go back see the notes, you will find the PFAs there, perfluoro, right? Is perfluoroalkyl and as well as a polyfluoroalkyl substances, same we have written in the class, and these things we have written. PFAs are found to be widespread in drinking water, food and food packaging material. We have written in the class almost one word that was almost it is ubiquitous, right? Number 2 is PFAs are not easily degraded in the environment. Yes, we have seen persistent, bioaccumulative and toxic. So one was a persistent and second is a persistent exposure to PFAs can lead to bioaccumulation in the animal bodies. Yes, so it means the statement number 1 is correct, statement number 2 is correct, statement number 3 is correct, 1, 2, 3, all of those 3 statements are correct. Next statement, next question is consider the following. It was a little difficult question. That in class, if you remember, some of the students may have studied this in our classes. We have seen parasitism and parasitoidism. In the parasitoidism, what was there? That host and parasite interaction between parasite and host, but if the parasite presence results into the death of the host, in that case it is called as a parasitoidism, and the species which is a parasite is also called as a now parasitoid. So who is a parasitoid here? That generally if we see flies and wasp are the parasitoids, some of the species of flies and some of the species of wasp. Some beetles may also act as a parasitoid. Beetles mostly are not, but some beetles may be parasitoid of the carabid beetles too. Centipedes I have not seen having this parasitoid interaction. Sometimes the flies may be parasitoid on the some centipedes, but centipedes per se not parasitoid. Parasitoid means that parasite whose presence has led to the death of the host there, and same goes with the termites also. So termites do not act as a parasitoid, or right, this centipede I have not seen, right. Remaining last time we have seen how the blunder was done by the UPSC in some of the questions there. So this way they do, they may take all, but the answer should be right, this flies, wasp and as well as carabid beetles. It means number 3 of those 5 are correct. Parasitoid species are found in how many of the above kind of organisms? So answer should be only 3. But I have already told you in such kind of a questions many a times we have seen UPSC has been more general in nature, because right, 1 or 2 examples may be mentioned somewhere. We have seen so many species exist, more than 2 million species we already know, and that's why 1 or 2 species mentioned in some literature may be there. They pick up from there, they may take answer all of them, but what we generally study, what we know generally based on this, the centipedes and termites don't have that kind of a parasitoid role. So they do not engage into the parasitoidism. Next is consider the following plants: groundnut, horse gram, soybean. Go back home again, and I have given you those popular interaction pages over there, and see that last time also I told you that leguminous plant, right, and that some examples are given in the leguminous plant example among the peas and bean family. Now please remember, many a times pea family mostly may be associated with the peas, beans, so that's a soya bean. But the question again I have already told you, many a times why UPSC commits some mistakes, because they become more layman in their approach when they are handling the question, and they say pea family. So maybe they are only talking the peas and beans, but this pea family means what? This is a Fabaceae, or this is a pea family, legume family is the same. So when we say pea family at the family level in the taxonomical classification, then we will be having a groundnut, horse gram, soybean. So the peanut or horse gram or the soybean, right, in those notes you will see it's mentioned soybean also, peanut also. So it means remember this is 1, 2 and 3. See this legume is right, along with the legume it is mentioned. So answer should be right, this consider the following. How many of the above? Right, all 3. Right, 1, 2 and 3 belong to the pea family. So this only 3 Mimi, all 3 would be there. Next is consider the following statement: Indian flying fox Now, this question again is wrong in the present context. Why in the present context? Because the schedule 5, which was earlier vermin, has been abolished. But those people who have attended the class, you have got the WPA before amendment pages, right, in those batches where I have covered. At the end, last line in that WPA PDF which I gave you, the last line is mentioned schedule 5. And in the schedule 5, we have right, this names mentioned there, and one of the name mentioned there is a fruit bat. Right, that is a fruit bat, is also called as a Indian flying fox. Now, anybody who can remember this line, answer is there in itself. Indian flying fox is a fruit bat. Fruit bat means, remember, we are talking the frugivore. Now, the present status is central government may declare any species from the schedule 2 as a vermin for a specified period of time for a particular duration. So, no longer the schedule 5 exists. But if we see this question, and based on whatever options are given over here, the Indian flying fox is placed under the vermin category in the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. So, it means we are talking about the unupdated Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Based on this, technically this question is right, this statement is incorrect, this statement would be incorrect, right? Why? Flying fox feeds on the blood of the other animals. So, if we talk like this, it means, remember, all the statements should be incorrect technically. But if we see that what options are mentioned, and maybe it is before amendments, if we say before amendment, then we go for this Indian flying fox is placed, yes, it is placed in the schedule 5, that is before amendment, right. So, schedule 5, and schedule 5 was related to vermin, and here we have a rat, the mice, the common crow, the fruit bat, they were mentioned there. These 4 names you will find in that PDF given to you. So, this is a fruit bat, and fruit bat means frugivore, and frugivore means not sangivore, it is a frugivore, eats fruits, right. And that's why, remember, the statement becomes incorrect, the statement should be correct. It means the statement 1 is correct and the statement 2 is incorrect. Statement 1 is correct, but the statement 2 is incorrect. That should be there, right. Now, these are the questions from the environment area. Thank you very much. I wish you all very best, right. Just take some rest and continue your preparation for the main examination. Don't worry too much. Even if you are on a borderline case, based on this, think as if you may qualify, and keep on preparing for the main examination. Thank you very much. Good night.
Hello everyone, welcome to the discussion on the prelims answers keys, and without much ado we can start with our discussion. So, the first question we are going to discuss is the consideration about the statement, that is about Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam. Now, this rule was, or this act was passed in the last parliament related to 1/3 reservation given to the women in state assemblies and the Lok Sabha, along with basically the 33% seat reserve within the quota already given for reservation of seats in politics for scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, etc. So, let us see the statement. First statement says provision will come into effect from the 18 Lok Sabha. Now, one thing you need to be very careful while answering this question, that they are explicitly saying that it will be basically come into effect from the 18th Lok Sabha. Now, question is that in the act itself it has said that it will take into the delimitation, and we do not know, there is no compulsion on the government to conduct a delimitation in a particular time period. So, it is not very sure when it will come into effect. So, after the census, whenever delimitation will be conducted, then after that the seat will be marked and then it will come into effect. So, 18th Lok Sabha is not certain to have this kind of thing. So, the first statement is not correct. That is what you have to be very careful about. Second one is, this will be in force for 15 years after becoming an act. So, that is true for every constituency. The plan is that for one third constituency, 5 years will be there where women's seats will be reserved, then another 1/3 constituency for another 5 years and another basically third constituency. तो objective is कि हम 15 साल में पूरे 543 constituency को कभी ना कभी women representative basically provide करा पाएंगे, and that is why the statement 2 is absolutely right. There are provision for the reservation of seats for the scheduled caste women within the quota reserved for the scheduled caste. So, as we know that in the parliament under article 330 there is a quota for scheduled caste community member, and within that quota again there is going to be women reservation. So, this is quota within quota. So, the answer to this question is going to be only 2 and 3 correct, and that is going to be option C. Then the next question is with reference to Pradhan Mantri Surakshit Matritva Abhiyan, consider the following statement. This scheme guarantee a minimum package of antenatal care services to the women in their second and third trimester of pregnancy and 6 month post delivery health care in any government health facility. So, here the government objective, this scheme was initiated along with Pradhan Mantri Matritva Sahyog Yojana, and under that you will have the designated government hospital, not any government hospital. So, there this word is responsible for making this statement incorrect. Second one is, under this scheme, private sector healthcare provider of certain specialty can volunteer to provide the services at the nearby government facilities, health facilities. So, this statement is correct. The private sector participation is expected, and government has made the provision that any private sector basically person can have, basically healthcare person can have a role of volunteer to play. So, the option 2 is correct, which makes the statement, or option B is correct option. The third one, this was already discussed in our class. So, just for reference we have attached this basically image. Then this was question already discussed, and the total fertility rate I am just repeating in an economy is defined by. So, this is a straightforward question in which the answer is going to be the D option, the average number of live birth a woman would have by the end of her childbearing age, which is 15 to 49 in many cases it is taken. So, the topic we have already covered in our society lectures, where we have mentioned about this kind of average number of children per women within age group, again of 15 to 49 age group. Then again, this was also a topic of discussion we had in our demographic transition theory topic, which we have discussed in society, and this is where we have mentioned some of the countries where there will be going to have decline in population and there is rise in elderly population, and there is a fertility rate going to be achieving replacement level and much below that. Then with reference to Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Man Dhan Yojana, consider the following statement. So, again the entry age group, this already being discussed. So, again the first one is not correct because it is entry age group is 18. Age specific contribution shall be made. So, this is fair. Each subscriber under the scheme shall receive minimum pension, that is also fair. Then family pension is applicable to the spouse, which is correct, but it is not extended to unmarried daughters, making the option 2 and 3, that is option B, as most appropriate. This is what we have covered in our topic, in our discussion, that is Pradhan Mantri Shram Dhan Yojana, which was along with basically many other schemes to provide any kind of financial security to members of unorganized sector. Then with reference to Digital India Land Record Modernization Program, consider the following statement. So, all this associated with the land reform, that one of the important element of land reform is the record availability and that need to be digitalized. So, this scheme was launched primarily in basically time period when we are preferring to digitalize whole India by Digital India campaign or program. So, to implement this scheme, central government provide 100% funding, which is true. Again, under this scheme, cadastral map are digitalized and initiative has been undertaken. So, again in this question, we have all the basically options which are supposed to be correct. So, there is something which we can basically also covered in this part, that is land reform and all. We have discussed that in class in detail. So, that is all from my side, guys. Thank you everyone, and I hope your examination went well. You should take some break, some rest, and then rejuvenate yourself, recharge yourself for the next basically stage, which is your mains examination. Wish you all the very best.
हेलो एंड वेरी गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन. सो आई थिंक आज का पेपर बहुत अच्छा रहा होगा एंड यू ऑल मस्ट बी फीलिंग गुड. बहुत सारी चीज़ें क्लास से डायरेक्ट पढ़े हुए आई हैं, करंट बेस्ड बहुत सारी चीज़ें पूछी गई हैं. एंड द गुड पार्ट इज़ कि बहुत ज़्यादा एनालिटिकल या बहुत ज़्यादा डीप जाके नहीं पूछा है, डायरेक्टली वर्बेटिम पूछा है, एक्सेप्ट फॉर वन और टू क्वेश्चंस, राइट. जो आपके न्यूज़पेपर की हेडलाइंस है वहीं से क्वेश्चंस को डायरेक्टली पिक किया गया है. सो आई थिंक इट इज़ अ गुड पार्ट. So let's discuss few questions which are remaining. So the first question is, which of the following statement about exercise मित्र शक्ति 2023 is or are correct? अब यहाँ पे अब देखिए कि इन्होंने मित्र शक्ति पूछा है, but generally when we talk about these kind of exercise, we generally remember the country's name. किस कंट्री में हुई है, बाइनियल है या हर साल होती है या 3 साल में एक बार होती है. वी ट्राई टू रिमेंबर ओनली दीज काइंड ऑफ फैक्ट्स. बट ये थोड़ा सा मैं बोलूँगा कि थोड़ा सा डीप जाके पूछा है, राइट. ऑल्दो अगर आप पीआईबी देखेंगे तो ऑलरेडी जो पहले 2 पैराग्राफ हैं वहीं से पूछा है, बट अगेन मोर फैक्चुअल इन नेचर एंड यू नीड टू हैव दीज फैक्ट्स टू अंडरस्टैंड कि ये क्या है. बट द गुड पार्ट इज कि यहाँ पे जो आपको पता है उसी में गलती दी हुई है. सो द फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट इज देयर वाज अ जॉइंट मिलिट्री एक्सरसाइज बिटवीन इंडिया एंड बांग्लादेश. सो दिस here Bangladesh that has been mentioned is wrong. अब आपको अगर पता है कि सर मित्र शक्ति इज बिटवीन इंडिया एंड श्रीलंका, सो पहला ऑप्शन रूल आउट हो जाता है. पहला ऑप्शन रूल आउट हो जाता है तो आपको कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है, यू गेट द आंसर, राइट. इट इज एज सिंपल एज दिस कि आपको सिर्फ जितना आपने पढ़ा है उतना आपको पता है कि सर ये इंडिया बांग्लादेश नहीं है, श्रीलंका है, राइट. अगर मैं यहाँ पे इसे श्रीलंका कर दूंगा तो ये ठीक हो जाएगी स्टेटमेंट. तो आपकी पहली गलत है और पहली गलत होने से आपकी पहले ABC तीनों ऑप्शंस एलिमिनेट हो गए, राइट. सो थैंक्स टू UPSC कि उन्होंने वापस से हमें एलिमिनेशन ला के दे दिया है. ये नहीं पूछा है कि हाउ मेनी स्टेटमेंट्स आर करेक्ट, 1 ओनली, 2 ओनली, 3 ओनली, और आप इसका डायरेक्टली आंसर दे सकते हैं. तो आंसर हमें ऑलरेडी पता चल गया कि 2, 3, 4 आर करेक्ट. तो ये पूछा गया है कि इट इज कमेंस्ड इन औंध पुणे, दैट इज करेक्ट स्टेटमेंट. जॉइंट रिस्पॉन्स ड्यूरिंग काउंटर टेररिज्म ऑपरेशंस वाज अ गोल ऑफ दिस ऑपरेशन. सो ये यूनाइटेड नेशंस चार्टर 7 जो बात करता है ये उसे इंप्लीमेंट करने की बात करता है, जहाँ पे सब कन्वेंशनल ऑपरेशंस की बात की जाती है. उनमें से वन ऑफ द ऑपरेशन इज दिस ओनली, दी काउंटर टेररिज्म ऑपरेशंस के डील करने के लिए जॉइंट रिस्पॉन्स एक्सरसाइज है. इस बार की एक्सरसाइज में ये एक अलग चीज़ थी कि यहाँ पे एयर फोर्स हैज आल्सो टेकन पार्ट अपार्ट फ्रॉम द मिलिट्री पर्सनल. सो हमारे मराठा लाइट इन्फेंट्री रेजिमेंट और श्रीलंका की 53 इन्फेंट्री रेजिमेंट ने पार्टिसिपेट किया था. उसके अलावा 15 पर्सनल फ्रॉम एयर फोर्स वाज आल्सो देयर. सो दिस इज आल्सो करेक्ट. सो 2, 3 एंड 4 आर करेक्ट, राइट. तो आई थिंक कि अगर आपको ये सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं भी पता है, मैं बोल रहा हूँ डीप है, बट द थिंग इज कि अगर आपको पहली पॉइंट पता है, जो कि आप सब लोगों को पता होगी, हम सारी क्लासेस में ये कवर करते हैं, जितनी भी मिलिट्री एक्सरसाइज है आपने टेबल देखी होगी, एंड अल्टीमेटली यू रीच टू द आंसर. लेट्स मूव टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट. सुमेध पाइपलाइन इज अ स्ट्रेटेजिक रूट फॉर पर्शियन गल्फ ऑयल एंड द नेचुरल गैस शिपमेंट टू यूरोप. Sumed pipeline connects the Red Sea with the Mediterranean Sea. As we know, this year the hotbed, or if you talk about the news, Red Sea और सुएज कैनाल वाज द हॉट रीजन दैट वी वर एक्सपेक्टिंग अ क्वेश्चन। और ये हमने क्लास में भी कई बार देखा है, हमने बियॉन्ड क्लासरूम के लिए स्पेशल सेशन भी किया था रेड सी के ऊपर, जहां पे हमने बात की थी कि इंटरनेट पाइपलाइंस कैन बी और इंटरनेट कनेक्शंस कैन बी कट आउट, जो कि आपकी अंडर सी वाटर वायर्स हैं, और वो हमने होते भी देखा था, हाउथीज हैज डन इट, राइट। एंड उसी रीजन से क्वेश्चन आया है, बट द क्वेश्चन इज नॉट व्हाट वी हैव स्टडीड, बट उसी रीजन से एक और फैक्चुअल इंफॉर्मेशन को पूछा। एंड अगर आपको पता है कि सुमेध पाइपलाइन कहां पे है, तो इट इज बेसिकली इन सुएज कैनाल ओनली, राइट। इट इज अंडर इजिप्ट एंड इट इज कनेक्टिंग मेडिटेरेनियन सी विद द रेड सी। और पर्पज क्या है, ये जो आपकी अरेबियन गल्फ कंट्रीज हैं, इन्होंने अपना ऑयल और नेचुरल गैस शिप करने के लिए टू यूरोप and Northern America. This is basically a route that is acting, and that is what this pipeline is for. So both statement 1 and 2 are correct, and 2 is the correct explanation कि ये बोल रहा है कि ये ऑयल और नेचुरल गैस को यूरोप भेजने का एक तरीका है, राइट। अब यूरोप कैसे भेजा जा रहा है, क्योंकि ये जो पाइपलाइन है ये कनेक्ट करती है रेड सी को मेडिटेरेनियन सी के साथ। अगेन इफ यू सी द मैप, मेडिटेरेनियन सी opens where, right, on the north you will find Europe and the other places, right. So answer is A, both the statements are correct, and statement 2 is correct, and statement 2 explains the statement 1, right. Let's move to the next question. Consider the following statements. The European Parliament approved the Net Zero Industry Act recently. अब यहाँ तो आपको ऑलरेडी दे दिया है recently, so yes, this is correct, right. अभी यूरोपियन पार्लियामेंट ने रिसेंटली इस एक्ट को अप्रूव किया था, उसके बाद अभी रिसेंटली मई में भी ये न्यूज़ में था जब ये पास किया गया है। सो व्हाट इज दिस नेट जीरो इंडस्ट्रियल एक्ट, ये आपको समझ आना चाहिए। सो यूरोप हैज टॉक्ड अबाउट गेटिंग नेट जीरो एमिशन बाय 2050। हमने मल्टीपल क्लासेस में डिस्कस किया हुआ है कि नेट जीरो बाय 2050 यूरोपियन एंड द अदर डेवलप्ड नेशंस, 2060 बाय चाइना, 2070 इज द कमिटमेंट दैट हैज बीन मेड बाय इंडिया, राइट। सो यहाँ पे पहली जो लाइन है कि यूरोपियन पार्लियामेंट अप्रूव्ड द नेट जीरो इंडस्ट्री एक्ट, ये एक फैक्चुअल इंफॉर्मेशन है जो कि अभी न्यूज़पेपर्स में कंटिन्यूसली फ्रॉम आई थिंक जनवरी फरवरी आफ्टर COP 28 कंटिन्यूसली आपको 2 से 3 बार न्यूज़पेपर्स में देखने को मिल जाएगी। सेकेंड स्टेटमेंट इज द यूरोपियन यूनियन इंटेंड्स टू अचीव कार्बन न्यूट्रलिटी, नेट न्यूट्रलिटी बाय 2040। अब ये स्टेटमेंट गलत हो जाती है, राइट। ऑब्वियसली इट इज 2050, 2040 अभी किसी ने कमिट नहीं किया है, पहली चीज। दूसरी चीज यहाँ पे आप एक और समझिए कि जो इसका सेकंड पार्ट है, देयरफॉर एम्स टू डेवलप ऑल ऑफ इट्स ओन क्लीन टेक्नोलॉजी, ऑल ऑफ इट्स ओन, खुद अपनी सारी क्लीन टेक्नोलॉजी बाय दैट टाइम 2040 तक ये सारी अपनी खुद की क्लीन एनर्जी डेवलप करना चाहता है। सो एज यू ऑल नो, नेट जीरो एमिशन का कंसेप्ट इज नॉट दैट द टोटल एमिशन और टोटल CO2 एमिशन और इक्विवेलेंट टू CO2 एमिशन विल बी जीरो। इट सिंपली मीन्स कि जितना एमिशन होगा उतना एब्जॉर्प्शन भी होगा CO2 का, राइट। सो ऐसा बिल्कुल भी पॉसिबल नहीं है आज के ग्लोबलाइज्ड टाइम में कि कोई भी कंट्री या कोई भी रीजन सारी की सारी एनर्जी को क्लीन एनर्जी में कन्वर्ट कर ले या ऐसा कोई ऑप्शन फाइंड आउट कर ले। सो ऑब्वियसली इस स्टेटमेंट में बहुत सारी चीज़ें गलत दी हुई हैं। सो आपको जैसे ही सेकंड स्टेटमेंट गलत समझ आती है तो पहली वैसे भी ठीक हो जाती है, इंक्लूडिंग अगर आपको ये फैक्ट यहाँ पे नहीं भी पता है, अनटिल एंड अनलेस कि आप बोलें कि बोथ द स्टेटमेंट्स आर करेक्ट, राइट। सिमिलरली इन्होंने 2040 कहाँ से लिया है? सो 2040 इज बेसिकली दे हैव tried to identify or they have tried to converge few things, जहाँ पे इन्होंने बोला कि जो टोटल आपकी इंडस्ट्रियल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के अंदर एनर्जी है उसे 40% इंप्रूव करने की बात की गई है बाय 2030, राइट। 40% इंप्रूव करने की, क्लीन एनर्जी में कन्वर्ट करने की बात की गई है 2030 तक, right. So that is something which was there. So second statement is wrong and the only first statement is correct, right. So you can easily reach out to the answer, right. So thank you all. This is all from my side for this exam, and I hope that I'll see you all in the mains preparation. Take care.
So, Jai Hind everyone. करंट अफेयर्स सेक्शन से दो इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स जो हम यहाँ पे देखेंगे जो हमारे करंट अफेयर्स के अंदर और हमारे पेपर के अंदर इस बार आए। तो इसमें फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन जो था, द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन नंबर 26 वाज विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज द ऑथर ऑफ द बुक द इंडिया वे। सो दिस इज द नेम ऑफ द फर्स्ट बुक and the second book is Why Bharat Matters. If you see that, like, the trend has been that nowadays they have been asking question, UPSC has been asking question on books and the authors as well, right? So here the correct answer is S. Jaishankar. So यहाँ पे correct answer is D. So whenever next time any important personality you find in the newspaper or otherwise who is in news because of some recent books, then you need to remember the names as well. ठीक है, next is जो next question है हमारा है, so these are the two books, Why Bharat Matters by S. Jaishankar and The India Way, Strategies for an Uncertain World, that is also written by S. Jaishankar. The next question is question number 88. Again the factual question. The previous question was also the factual one. Which one of the following words or phrase is most appropriately used to denote an interoperable network of 3D virtual worlds that can be accessed simultaneously by millions of users who can exert property rights over virtual items. So यहाँ पर important keywords are virtual worlds, 3D virtual worlds, something which we see in the metaverse, and the virtual items, because nowadays you can even purchase certain things in this metaverse. Correct answer is C, but हाँ यहाँ पर we need to understand, we need to see the source of this question as well, because on 27 July and then again the report got published on 30th July 2022. So the book written by Matthew Ball, in this book he has given this very definition where he has said an interoperable network of 3D virtual worlds that can be accessed simultaneously by millions of users. So this is a clear-cut definition of the metaverse postulated by Matthew Ball. So here, taking this definition, we can say the answer will be metaverse.